Saving it for will now commence. Oh, okay. I gotta have that part ready. All right, here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hold out your hand, lady. Let me show you something. Go on. Take this ring. It's lucky.
Hey everyone, welcome to Core. This is Core for August 4th, 2023. That's the year. That's right. It's Friday. Normally we don't record on a Friday, but as promised Monday, we said we would do 2 shows this week. Last week, or Mondays was just to make up for the previous week. So we're back. We pushed it one day, though, because Baldur's Gate 3 came out yesterday, and we wanted to have at least some of it under our, some playtime, so we could talk about it a little bit. And I got to ask this question before we'll get to the game later, but I want to at least ask this. My PC fan is basically on fire. It's like on meth and 12 other stimulant drugs when I keep saying battle, when Baldur's Gate 3 is playing. Are you guys seeing this? Are your fans off the hook right now? Because I don't know if I've got like something going on.
Let me start with A. Have you updated your drivers?
Yes.
That was a new driver release.
Yeah, first thing.
B, when you're at the main menu, I think you can do this in game 2. You can press escape.
Yeah.
And click on graphics.
Yeah.
And I think there are options there to turn them down if your PC is about to explode. Yeah. There might be something going on in there, though. You might want to look at that because mine was set to ultra. What graphics card do you have?
I have a 3090 and I am set to ultra. I've got
3090?
Yeah, everything maxed.
I have a 3060 and mine's chilling out.
I don't know why my fans. It's not even. Yeah. You know what? It doesn't even sound like my card fan.
Oh no! Wait.
It sounds like my
Sometimes
CPU fan.
games explode video cards.
I know. Remember that Remember that old world thing or whatever the hell that was called, the Amazon MMO?
3090s in particular. Like the better they are, the more likely they're to explode. Actually,
shit, that's not good.
Yeah, no, that's actually a little concerning. Chat room, is anyone?
I mean, I've had 4 hours of playtime so far. It's not a lot, but I haven't had. There's been no lockups or meltdowns or anything. And I checked CPU temperature; it's in range of what's supposed to be okay. But I have a case that is designed to be when I got this particular upgrade, this box is like really quiet all the time. No matter almost no matter what I throw at it, it's very, very quiet. This game, it just gets really, really loud. And same with the Steam Deck, though. I tried to install the game on Steam on the Steam Deck last night. I've never heard that thing get so loud. So maybe that game is just a beast and there's just nothing.
Oh, did you try running with Vulkan instead of DirectX 11?
No, I thought about trying that. But
maybe.
They said in their FAQ
you might set a frame rate limit. You might be burning cycles you don't need. What's your max refresh on your screen?
I'm 144K or kilohertz, and I'm currently running at a cap of 120 frames. So I could do 60. Could knock it down to 60.
So you have your cap on. And you're probably not at 1080p. You're probably at the better resolution.
1440.
I'm guessing.
Yeah,
that's probably it. I run
4K.
on 1080p.
Maybe that would help. I'll look at it. I don't. Again, like all the indicators are that I'm not hurting anything, but I don't like that feeling of like, and I'm not used to it. This is like the stuff people talked about with that Amazon MMO, and I played that on launch weekend, and I never had that problem. So I just thought people are full of crap, but. This seems to be.
Did you check your performance tab in the task manager just to see what was redlining? Like, obviously, it's your graphics card. Like, the temperature's okay, but are you like,
no.
Give you your throughput on,
nothing redlined. Trying to think if I saw anything else weird. I also run real minimum on anything running in the background, just because.
Yeah.
Even though these days you kind of even have to worry about it, but I've been a weirdo about that since like Windows 98. And I just turn all that shit off whenever I can.
We have trauma from the 486 days where, in that Pentium era where it's like, do you want to get extra frames for your game? Disable all these things from the startup of the task manager. Go here, install this little app to manage your memory better. Like all kinds of tricks to squeeze out things. Mm-hmm. So I think we still have that habit, and most people are like, just press play and don't have 50 million. Brian is notorious for having 56 tabs open. I assume that's a permanent state of affairs on his computer.
He loves doing that. I just can't do it. I have to shut tabs. I have to empty trash if there's anything in it. The smallest file could be in there. If I see the icon, it's got trash in it, I'm emptying it. Like I've got a problem almost when it comes to those things. I get real OCD about it, but I don't know. It's just making noise. John, you're running fine? No issues? All good?
I haven't really noticed any problems. No, it seems fine. I did have one combat where the game kind of freaked out a little bit. Like we fell through the floor of something, and one of my guys didn't land. Like everybody was just supposed to. It was an event, so everybody was supposed to be on the ground starting combat in the next bit. And one of the characters stayed up in the air, and when it was his turn, he fell and hit the ground.
Ooh.
And like lost half of his HP from the fall. And then I think the game freaked out about what was happening, and all of a sudden it was like combat, and then it just sat there for probably 15 seconds, and then it was like begins and started going. But other than that, it's been running pretty smoothly. I haven't had any real issues with it. I just opened up my like the GeForce recommendation though. Mm-hmm. Where you can just say like, hey, you figure it out. I don't want to worry about it. Yeah. And it says I'm not running at the optimal settings, but when I hit optimize, it doesn't change anything.
Oh.
So well, I don't know what exactly it is that I'm supposed to do.
Look, it's a brand new.
I can just remember what these are supposed to be and make those adjustments on my own.
A brand new, AAA, heavy, intense graphical title, 122 gigabytes or something.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's huge. Like maybe we're just having one of those moments like you do with a new game.
Yeah, I think probably because you're running in 1440p at 120 frames. That's a lot of juice for a CPU, even that one. Yeah. I have a Metroid on my face. That's awesome.
It's running great for me though. I do want to clarify just so it doesn't sound like I'd be like, the game isn't running great at all. This game has been running fine. Like I've actually been surprised at how smooth it's all been running.
Oh yeah, super smooth.
And just getting a workout. Yeah.
When I did finally get it running on the Steam Deck, you have to do the Proton experimental Proton build to get it to work, which is no big deal. You just changing the properties. And it ran just fine, no issues. Just really hot is all. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just don't pay enough attention to my CPU fans.
Well, you play a lot of indie games too, which are not demanding at all. So.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. So that's a good point.
Like a 3090, probably tackles everything you throw at it easily.
Yeah, I'm not having any. Everything's max. So
yeah. So and I think BG3, like the high end, is pretty. And mine hasn't struggled either, but I'm playing in 1080. I think those extra pixels are pretty meaningful.
And you don't mind the, you really, the lower resolution doesn't bother you. By lower, 1080p used to be the high.
Well, I at some point I think I might get a more higher res card, but my understanding is 1440 is pretty demanding, so it's going to be a trade-off. On a 360, like my graphics card will probably be somewhere in the 60 FPS range or lower on 1440p.
Yeah.
So that's why I opted for the higher frame rate on 1080. It's 1-to-1 with streaming. I kind of want it because when I was looking into 4K monitors, they're really expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Even on a 3090, you'll be struggling with games and stuff. It's still pretty demanding. Yeah. I may do it at some point though because Phantom Liberty is coming out.
Oh yeah,
in September.
Yeah,
and what I'd ideally like to do is once Luke Ross, the maker of the VR mod, gets that, I want to do another playthrough Cyberpunk, and I want to do it 100% in VR, and I want to do it with good graphics. So the 3060 is it's not enough.
Hey, speaking of penis sliders, you can do that in VR.
Yeah. No, arguably there's I guess it's pretty much the same. I think can't you change the size in Cyberpunk?
Yeah, you can do a little bit of size.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's no size. Everyone has the same size dong in the world of Larian's world. You can't do micropene.
Look, Gary Gygax on his deathbed said, "Before I go, no penis is bigger than another in this world."
Yeah, he was truly civil rights
Truly. He wanted equality. Really.
Advocate. He wanted equality
Yep.
amongst all the penises.
We'll talk more about that game. I want to let you do here in a minute. But first, because it's kind of a low news week and we did a show on Monday, I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So here's this. All right. I want to tell you guys, I found a list of the 10 best-selling games of all time. These are based on actual sales data. And I don't know if you looked at it or not. If you didn't, this could be more fun. Okay, good.
You told me not to.
Good. Because I think you'll have more fun guessing what these might be. Or yeah.
Are there any limitations to this? Like, does it count mobile? Because I feel like mobile.
No, it only counts like I bought a game for a PC or console and played it kind of games. So no
mobile gas.
None of that. I'm sure if we counted that, it would be the stupidest list of all time. This list.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Go, I guess.
Okay, I gotta think Grand Theft Auto 5 is on there.
All right, so I'm going to find out if you are correct about that, and you are correct. Number three. Grand Theft Auto 5. 175 plus million copies of that game sold in its lifetime.
Okay, so it's most copies sold, not money.
No, it's just copies sold. Yeah, because it doesn't account for. There's no like inflation issues or any of that. It's just units sold.
Yeah, units. Okay.
Seeing as it's on everything, is Skyrim on there?
Let's find out. Is Skyrim on there? Skyrim is number 7. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, 60 plus million of that game sold in its lifetime.
Okay, great.
Clearly some Nintendo shit's on there, like Zelda and Mario.
Let's see. You might be surprised.
I went real specific with my guesses. Bo guessed Zelda and Mario.
Yeah, Zelda and Mario. As close as you get, Bo, to Mario is Mario Kart 8. That has 63.92 million copies sold from Wii U through Switch. As long as that thing's been around.
All right.
So that's a massive
That's
seller.
The most recent one, right?
Is Tetris on there?
Yeah, it was first launched in 2014 though, but yes, most recent. Tetris is number 1, John. Number 1.
Yeah.
Where's our music for that?
I got there eventually.
Hold on. No.
I have the chef.
That's number 1. I couldn't find a good number 1 thing. 520 million copies of Tetris have been sold in its lifetime. Yet? No, not yet. I want to.
It's all right.
Yeah, Ibit liked it. Recommended it last week. You had mentioned you liked it. I think I do want to see it. Just got to get around to it.
It's enjoyable. Like Eggy.
Is The Sims on there?
Sims. Let's find out. Hold on.
That's a good guess.
I should have made a shorter version of this list. Nope. No Sims.
Oh, man.
Sims have got to be in the top 20, though, probably. If I had to guess. Okay. Any other guesses?
I mean, I've done pretty good. I've guessed number 1, number 3, and number 7.
Yeah, you're doing good. And Bo kind of picked Mario Kart.
Was bullshit, according to John.
No. You got one sort of.
Yeah, you kind of got
Mario
one.
something and Zelda something. Yeah, whatever.
You know what's funny is Mario Kart 8 came out 6 months after Grand Theft Auto 5 did initially. Their initial launches in 2013,
One of them's got to
2014.
be a World of Warcraft or Diablo.
I
just don't think it's on enough consoles. Like maybe though.
Well, I'll give you.
World of Warcraft was a
massive seller. There's no question. But I'll give you a hint. There is a Blizzard title on this list. You just need to choose which one you think it is. But there's only one. If that helps, there's only one.
Only one.
Yeah.
Diablo 4.
All right. Bo says Diablo 4. John.
Could be StarCraft 2. But I think Diablo 4.
What would be Blizzard's number 1 seller?
I mean, World of Warcraft would beat it if you counted when people buy it when there's an X-Pack. Yeah. But if you're counting them as standalone titles, then it wouldn't. But if you're just like...
StarCraft came out on console.
Yeah, and a really good point about expansions, because I don't think they're counting those. I think they're just saying
I'm going to say StarCraft.
All right, you say StarCraft. Bo says, what did you say, Bo? Diablo 4. Let's find out if that is correct. Incorrect. The 10th best-selling game of all time and Blizzard title, Overwatch, 50 million copies.
Oh my god.
Overwatch.
No accounting for taste, people. Jesus.
I mean, it was a
we
massive
didn't
hit.
know that's rear view mirror talking. That at the time we didn't know
That's true.
what we felt about
That's
it. We just
true.
knew
Most
Blizzard
of my
had a new
problems
IP.
with Overwatch have nothing to do with the initial launch
And
of that
Overwatch
game.
was very hype in its
Oh, yeah.
launch.
It was
It's
huge.
also out on everything, right? Like that came
Yeah.
out on consoles, that came out on PC, which I think if World of Warcraft had a console release, it would probably be on this list.
It would.
There's
It
got to
definitely
be a
help it.
milsim on there of some kind, like
That's-
Call of Duty. Or something
That's what
like
made
that.
me think StarCraft, because StarCraft did come out on N64 and I think PlayStation as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I thought maybe that might do it. Diablo 3 I also felt like might have had a chance because it was on console.
Also
as well,
on
but-
consoles, yeah, and had a really
The
good
Witcher.
second run after that expansion. They really boosted sales.
Witcher's
but
got to be
no.
a best-selling one. I mean, a lot of people who don't normally play video games played that game and know who Geralt is.
I'm gonna check real quick. No Witcher.
Really?
Yep.
Surprised.
Witcher sold less than 50 million.
Can I do a bow guess and just say Pokemon?
Yeah.
Is-
Can I just say Pokemon?
Let's see. Is
That's fine.
Pokemon there? Nope. No Pokemon.
Oh man.
Best-selling games of all time.
Sorry,
What about
John.
a Sim City? Is there Sim City on there?
Sim
Everybody had
Cities.
Sim City when I was growing up.
Let's see. Nope. No SimCity.
Yeah, you got to
got
throw this
so
kind
many
of
negatives.
you got to
then.
throw this logic out because like everyone bought Tetris, so it's something dumb that everyone is it dot cat milk.
None of that stuff.
Yeah.
What is Dot Cat Milk? I don't even know what that is.
went over
he's talked about this before.
It's
It's-
shovelware that is first in the Nintendo store because it has a dot as the first
Oh,
letter, and
yeah.
and even John admitted to buying it, and it irritated me because I see it all the time.
My household bought it. Let's just before I
Yeah.
get labeled. It was purchased in my household.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, sorry.
I love that, but that is not on here. No, I don't think.
Not throwing anyone specific under the bus. Let's say Yeah.
Definitely not
What
on there.
else would be on that list?
I mean, Doom gets mentioned, but I feel like Doom is not.
Doom might be a decent guess. That was a phenomenon when it came out.
Is Doom on
But-
here? Nope.
It was
The
a phenomenon
shareware
for
phenomena.
less people. Yeah, that's true.
It's a shareware and maybe even a BBS pirated phenomenon at the time.
Yeah, and keep in mind this is a sequel could be on this list, but like, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a sequel, but it's not including all prequel games or sequel games. It's just one of those games is the best selling. So
How many spots are we missing?
in other words, they're not lumping original Doom, Doom 3, Doom
Yeah.
Eternal, like none of that's in there. There are 10 spots total. You guys have eaten up. Overwatch at number 10, 7 was Elder Scrolls, Mario Kart at 6. So was that 3 I just said? 4 for Grand Theft Auto, Tetris number 1, so that's 5. So you got the last half to do.
It got to be a Square Enix game on there, like Final Fantasy VII.
Nah, I don't think any Final Fantasies will be on there.
Let's see if any of those are there. None of those are on there. One of these.
Was Half-Life.
Let's see. Is Half-Life on there? Nope.
Yeah, we're talking for like everyone's buying this thing. So like Wii U Sports.
Hold on.
See, but that was a free giveaway. So
All I
Would
know
that
is
count?
my grandmother on my dad's side bought a Wii U for the express
Yeah.
purpose of exercise, who would never touched a video game in 7 or 8 decades of living.
Well-
managed to pick up a Wii U because of that board and Wii Sports and exercise. Anyway, Scott.
All right.
am I
Here's
right?
here's what we've got. I'll play this okay, here we go. Right. Where is it? John is correct. Or Bo is correct. Wii Sports, 82.9 million. But here's the caveat. According to Nintendo's official sales figures, Wii Sports is the company's best-selling game of all time. While most entries on this list were bundled with a console at some point, Wii Sports was bundled with the Wii in nearly all territories at launch. At nearly 83 million copies sold, it is the top-selling single-platform exclusive of all time. So it is a little screwy.
it's a little misleading.
It's a little
Yeah.
screwy, but it's still a
So
game.
they counted it. If you bought the console and you got it, it still counts as a sale.
Correct. If you had a built-in-
then yes, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, if you had a game that was was a launch title on the thing
Units
that came with
shipped.
it, they count
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Units shipped. So,
I can't pretend I didn't get this from chat. I did see chat say this, and I just agree with them. Minecraft.
Let's find out if Minecraft is on here. Hold on, where is it? Is Minecraft here? Yes, it is. It is number 2 on the list. 238 million copies of Minecraft as of April of 2022. This is Microsoft sales data, though its total sales have certainly climbed higher in the recent year. Let's see the notes. The figure captures the sales totals across its 22 available platforms, with film, Netflix, and education, toy, many other projects either completed or in the works. Minecraft has transcended the medium in a way few others have before. So yeah, a lot. That thing's been on everything.
Next up on the guest list, some milsim, either like Counter-Strike or
let's see, Counter-Strike.
Call of Duty
or Counter-Strike. Call of Duty would be one of my first ones, right? That's what I would think. But
I mean, milsims are popular. There must have been one that really popped off big time.
Let's find out. Incorrect. There are none on this list.
Or both. Oh, jeez.
Not one. I suspect that Modern Warfare 1 was probably as close as they got, but it's probably top 10, 20 or something. So let's see. You're down to
Portal.
No, definitely not. Well, I'll just play that for you. Not there.
Definitely not.
Definitely not on there.
So no Half-Life
okay,
either.
think
No Half-Life
think
2.
PC shooter that we all played. I don't want to give it away. That kind of took the world by storm and almost single-handedly created a whole new genre for a while.
Quake?
John would be incorrect. Bo?
Created a whole. Oh, is it Unreal Tournament?
Let's see. Is it? The answer is PUBG, 75 million.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a box
I'm
price.
surprised, but yeah.
You're right about that. Yeah.
Yep. They don't count any mobile downloads toward this. It
There's
says.
your military shooter, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind
PUBG, 75 million is a freaking lot. That's a big
Brought to
successful
you
title.
by Bluehole.
You are only missing. Oh, I lied. Hold on. Okay, that's Scott lied sound.
So many sounds.
I'm sorry. Number 9 was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Sorry, Bo.
There
Oh,
you go.
shit,
Bo's
yeah.
redeemed.
Totally redeemed.
The redemption of Bo.
Yeah, 9th, 50 million plus. So a little.
I judge this category by how many people who don't play video games end up owning or liking a particular property. Tetris, Wii U Sports.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you definitely I screwed up there. I don't know how I missed that. All right. So you're really missing only one now. It's the
Hey,
8th
give us a hint
position.
on that one.
It's the 8th
Wait, what?
position. And the hint is, it's the only. Let me make sure I'm telling you.
Red
that
Dead
right.
Redemption
Oh shit.
2.
Bo is correct. Or,
It's the only cowboy game.
I was gonna.
Well, I was still thinking about it. My sister loves video game.
Yeah.
She loves video games. She plays them, but doesn't play a lot. She doesn't like a lot of them, but she gravitates towards a small amount. And one of them, strangely enough, is Red Dead Redemption. She loves horses, and that game has horses, good ball physics, good scrote physics on the horses. Even she's been going to an actual ranch and volunteering and getting to ride the horses and trade.
Is it
help
Red
out
Dead
ranch.
Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2?
2. Which is what Bo said. Bo said 2.
Yeah, and she's like, we should play RDR online. I keep meaning to, and it's just not my jam so much. But
I'm with your sister. I think it's one of the greatest games ever made, ever in the history of ever. So I'm a big fan. This is funny to me though. There are only 2 companies on this list that made the list twice, and that would be Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, and Nintendo with Mario Kart 8 and Wii Sports. And that's a funny juxtaposition of Nintendo versus the GTA
power of
company.
kart though. The power of not everybody can jump on platforms, even if it's the friendliest Mario game. But everyone can drive a kart.
Yeah, dude, Mario Kart
Like,
is a phenomenon.
Grandma
That
will
game.
play the kart game.
And
Yeah.
admittedly, Mario Kart 8, which is now called Deluxe or whatever, 8 Plus Deluxe or whatever, that game is it is really good. Like, legitimately, it is great. It's the one title I could see them doing another carryover to the next system because its base is so strong. They've sold so many copies of it. They just would have to keep adding tracks and characters. Maybe give it a little graphical overhaul if the new system's nice. Like that game could live on in perpetuity. In the same way like GTA 5, it's almost the same deal. It's like they just keep making it and then improving it and then people mod it or whatever. But, I can't believe that launched in 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's still huge.
I think Red Dead Redemption 2 and Mario Kart 8 plus Deluxe is the two that are the most impressive because they are not on that many platforms.
Right.
Like they're severely platform limited comparatively, and they're still significantly high up on that list.
Agreed.
And Mario Kart, kind of universal appeal, good for kids, good for adults. But Red Dead Redemption 2 for a very specific audience. And like, that's even a game that I have a hard time recommending to people because it's so weirdly paced compared to other video games. Like, I love it. It's like an immersion sort of thing, like immerse yourself in this world. But like, I don't think it's a game you just immediately go, I'll just play Red Dead Redemption 2. It's, you'll love it no matter who you are. Like it feels like it's very much for somebody.
It's like the Boromir meme. You do not simply just walk into Red Dead Redemption 2. You have to be serious.
No,
about
but
it.
you do walk in Red Dead Redemption
a lot.
2 a lot.
Yeah, a whole lot.
Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I guess I should have seen that. Like, it's literally in that video game song by Tenacious D. Like, that's the one that he calls out as it's not a game, it's a work of art. So,
I love that thing.
I don't know, man.
That's such a great little animated thing. I love it so much.
It is. It's so short. It's
well,
so
anyway,
fun.
there you go. We just want to have a little fun today and test your knowledge. It'd be fun to figure out, like, narrow it down and say, okay, all time PC, all time, Nintendo, all time. I always like that kind of crap. Excuse me, but Tetris is your big winner of the day and the month and the year. Very nice. All right. Let's talk about what we played this week.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Look at this. It's been a big week, folks. One of those weeks, banner week. Not since Diablo 4. We had a week like this. Prior to that, not since, what was the one right before that we all...
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Final Fantasy
That was
16.
a big one, yeah.
But there was not a lot before that, I don't think.
No, but when do you get a year where there's like this many in a row? I think Star Citizen, freaking Starfield might be the same,
Yeah, Star Citizen will never see that day. Pick the one game that's not coming.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
For episode 9,302, we finally played Star Citizen, and John has started answering apology emails.
Dude,
Yeah.
You know what's bad? What my YouTube recommended is all 21 great games coming out this summer or in August. And then you click it, you're like, yeah, like everything looks enticing.
Yeah.
Atlas Fallen looks rad.
Mhm.
I think. I know Phantom Liberty's out next month, but I'm looking forward to that.
Same.
Starfield.
Yep. It's a big.
We all played Bolt Gun.
Yeah, Bolt Gun was great.
Yeah,
A
but
lot
the
of us
Bolt Gun
played
was-
Jedi Survivor when we could.
Yeah. There was that.
It was not as hype as the games we're talking about, though. If that.
Well, definitely not. But don't you think this year, just in general, even the middleware feels better than usual? Like,
Hey guys, we all played Redfall.
oh my gosh,
I didn't.
Remember when we all
No,
played
no, no.
Redfall?
Didn't Bo?
I did not.
You didn't play?
Oh, did.
I don't have Game Pass.
Oh, that's right.
After I heard you guys shitting on it, I was like, okay, well.
You're not going to buy it. I mean, why would you?
I was just looking through all the shared played we had this year real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to play The Expanse. There's the Star Trek. That didn't come out, but I do want to play the Star Trek Resurgence.
Yeah.
I never played Final Fantasy 16. I'm interested, but probably will wait.
Get the
What
PC
else
version.
is coming out here? Hang on, August. WrestleQuest looks dope, but that's not a big one.
That does look dope. I'm stoked about that game. I mean,
Stray
all
Gods?
the indies. That Sea of Stars. Like, there's indies coming that I am out of my mind excited for.
Aren't you a Madden guy? There's a new Madden out this
No, I don't care about Madden.
Oh, okay.
You know what I like though? I like. You guys remember the Genesis had these two sports titles, Mutant League Soccer and Mutant League Football, Mutant League Hockey. These two games. I love this, and so there's this game coming out called Mutant. No, it's not Mutant League Football. It's Mutant Football League. It already exists. This is a game you
Nailed
can play.
it.
Yeah, all they did was scramble the word a little bit, but they basically made a moderned up version of that game with all the swearing and the blood and the environmental hazards and all that. I love that kind of football. video game, and so that is getting a sequel, and that is supposed to come out this year. So I would be, and if EA announced they were doing Mutant League Hockey again, I would shit my pants. I'd be so excited about that. No one else in the world cares, but I do.
I always liked the idea, but I never played it. So I might give that a try. This is such a good year for games. Like our game of the year stuff, usually we come up with a bunch of weird categories. It might just be we're gonna pick a top 5, top 10, and we're just gonna talk about those because there's so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna be a beast. I'm a little. It's funny because some of the bigger controversies in gaming have happened this year too. But man, games are great.
A few other mentions too. Armored Core 6.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah. I'm really excited for that.
You guys were pretty big on Sea of Stars, and I can understand that. It does look dope, even though I probably have to miss it. MK1 next month.
Yep.
Lies of P has got a lot of buzz.
When's Space Marine 2? Because that's one that's really on my radar.
That's unannounced date. I'm predicting Space Marine might be pushed to 2020.
Boo.
You gotta have
I haven't heard
next
anything,
year,
but I don't think
Core's gonna be real lame next year if everything comes out this year.
if I'm working on Space Marine 2 right now and I haven't announced a date, if I'm working at Saber Interactive under the publisher Focus Entertainment, I'm looking at the page right now. That's why I know this.
Yeah.
I'm going, man, we can't let's not release our game right now. Like, can we afford to wait? If so, then let's do that because
it's a lot.
Yeah, good gravy. Like,
I talked to a guy.
Yeah, so there's a Space Marine 2 page, but no date on it. I would definitely wait.
Okay, so maybe they're gonna wait on that one. But anyway, yeah, banner year. It's hard to deny that part of it.
A few more, and we're not done with the big, just the big ones. There's tons of little ones you might be interested in. Alan Wake 2, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's coming out like November. Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
November, but that's coming out.
Play that. That'll be big.
And you guys probably won't play this, but I'm mentioning it because it is a big franchise. Is City Skylines 2.
Oh yeah, I'm curious about it. I wish those. I like them too. I just wish they were. I need them to not just be a city. Like I need either ancient city, fantasy shit in there, science fiction.
Well, we have those two, but this is that one.
I know. I wish.
By the way,
I wish those guys would make it. Is what I'm saying because they could make it amazing.
Farthest Frontier had a big update where they added a religious building, and you can like make a religion, and your people follow the tenets and stuff like that. Just FYI. Speaking of city builders that are more themed, I love Farthest Frontier, and it's an exciting update. I have
that.
Tons of games to play, but I'm like I need to play this.
I got to get back into that too. Is that really? Are they planning? Are they hoping for an out of early access this year? Or do you know? We don't know. Probably not.
I think they're taking their sweet time. I don't know if we know when the date for launch is, but it's version 0.9 that's released, so they're close to
okay, they're getting close. That game is good.
But I would guess next year.
I bought that because you raved about it and you were right about it. That game's rad.
It's good. It's a good one of the Banished likes.
And I like it because it's unlike Banished. I have some wiggle room on the difficulty settings. I can make it a little more my speed because the Banished level is too hardcore for me.
Second place of the ones I've tried that I would go to also Timberborn. Timberborn is amazing.
That's the beaver one, right?
Yeah, and that's still early access. So still lots to look forward to there.
Bo loves beavers. Sorry, go ahead.
I do. I'm a big fan. I manage my beaver as well. We chop down the wood with our teeth very effectively.
Nobody grooms beavers like you, is what I say. That's what I tell my friends.
I'm all over the beaver.
Yep. We don't know what that means.
Sorry,
I don't know what that means.
There's more than one beaver in my city. There's many beavers.
Oh, there's so many beavers, but this one is mine. So yeah, big year. We didn't even talk about Remnant 2 or freaking all the shit that's come before it. But
yeah, by the way, Remnant 2 is awesome.
Yeah,
thanks.
So at the end of the year, we're gonna have it's gonna be a hot one. We're gonna have a hot and this is good actually. I think talking about it now is good because when we get there, we should all just do the coolest, maybe even multi-episode roundup of the year. I don't know what yet, but something good.
I think the games industry should take a year off. Like an armistice, or whatever you call it when you agree to stop shooting for a period of time.
Yeah.
Like I need a year off of game releases. Like if they took January to December 31st, year off of making games, I would be busy the year, that full year, and probably still not get to everything I'd like to get to.
Yeah.
Please take a year off, game industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
How hard is that? Just a quick year. It's not a big deal.
I
Is
could
it?
finally play Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. Maybe I could get in there and, see what's up. I actually downloaded the client on my PlayStation 5 because I wanted to just see what it looked like. I know that's weird, but I did.
That's fine.
I don't know why I did it. I just did. I've
You
been in
There's
there.
going to be a graphic upgrade in a year.
Yeah, well, they bumped up a bunch of stuff for the PS5 anyway, but yes, I guess there's another big graphic update, right? That was announced or something that's coming. It looks pretty good though. I can't say that about all the console MMOs. The Star Trek Online MMO and Neverwinter, which I think is an okay game, looks like utter shit on consoles. I don't know what they're doing.
They're older too, right?
They are older,
they're
but
older.
still, it's just like, what are you doing? Whereas ESO, they keep updating it. It looks really nice right now on console. Final Fantasy 14 looks really good on console. I think they could do better. Maybe their player bases are so low that's not a priority. I don't know, but yeah.
Other games I'm looking to get back to as well are Valheim.
Oh yeah,
Still love Valheim, War Tales, and Everspace 2.
Yeah.
Stuff keeps getting released, and I'm like, I get pushing that back.
I know, right? See, I keep thinking though, of all the things you've mentioned, for me it's Starfield, Sea of Stars. There's a lot of stars in my list.
I was gonna say how to cater to Scott.
Yeah.
Put star in the title.
Put space shit in there. What was the third one? The third one was probably Space Marine 2, but I'm with you that it's probably going to get pushed. So anyway,
I want it now, but it's probably getting pushed.
So let's talk about the hot business this week, which that was quite a detour we took, but to introduce Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3, BG3, is now officially out on Steam and PC, also on streaming services such as GeForce Now and something else got it. I can't remember what. I like when they do that. Yeah, I can't remember. But whoever else got, I know Epic got it, I think. Anyway, out on PC platforms. It is coming to PlayStation in about a month. So PS5 owners will have it, not PS4. There's no way this runs well on that. The Xbox version's still up in the air, whether that's coming now or later or soon or whatever. But it's out and sold a ton. They had their highest concurrent of the year on Steam yesterday, with users flooding everything with Baldur's Gate 3. In fact, Steam kind of wobbled a little bit. We had a couple of tech issues. They worked through it. But it was a big success so far. I am 4 hours into this game. And here's what I did. I got in and I thought the first thing I would do was make a character. But instead, I got all wound up in the existing crew that are pre-built in there, that are part of the story, depending on, you can choose one of them and that's you. And then the rest, they act out as NPCs or, cohorts or whatever. Or you can make a character and then, exist with these characters. I don't know if you make a character if one of the main ones die or something, or just never gets introduced. I don't know how they do that because I'm not far enough to really say, but I really like this Will character and I got kind of intrigued by his whole vibe and I've never played a warlock. I wanted to mess with that. I just got kind of hooked on it. And before I knew it, I was 4 hours into the story with a pre-built character and never made my own dude. And, I realize that's a little strange considering how much I think all three of us like character creation. So I can't really explain myself there. Except
you'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm not worried about that. I'll definitely be back.
My expectation is you may not last the full playthrough on this character, considering how long it is.
Yeah,
and considering what me and John are going through, I think you'll join us.
Yeah, hearing what you're going through has been interesting. In fact, I didn't even know about the penis vagina sliders until all my friends who were playing the create a character thing found it, and then I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's a thing you can do. And I remember a year ago, the game was glitching and showing boobies. And the company was like, oh, it's a glitch. We're fixing it in the next thing. But it wasn't a glitch. They're all meant to have the naked for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah,
this
they're
game's
meant
horny.
to only show you the naked when you agree to it, not randomly.
Right. Right. Because there is an option in the beginning. You can turn, as soon as you start the game, you can turn on nudity or not. I'd love to know the stats on who left it on versus who didn't. But
Well,
anyway,
it remains to be seen how graphic the sex scenes get, but we know there's some level of sex.
we know the game's kind of horny. We know this. We know that they've put some effort into relationships, and you doing it with druid bear forms and junk like that. So I guess we'll see. I'll tell you what I'm really impressed with. All my hot CPU fan issues aside, what I'm impressed with the most here is the pacing and the tech matching the story progression is impressive to me. And by that, I just mean like you'll go from a very up close and personal sort of cutscene immediately into gameplay and then right back out into a cutscene without any glitch or blip or anything. And I guess this is the modern age of SSDs. They, in fact, recommend you do an SSD for this install of 122 gigabytes. If you don't, you're going to run into some performance problems. They even have an option in the settings menu that lets you say, I have a slower hard drive, so that they can try to cater it. I don't know what that does, but it's supposed to cater it more to your slower drive. It is just a really polished game thus far. I haven't had any big glitches or anything. I did have a goblin kind of freak out and glitch out, but that didn't really make a difference because I already killed him. This thing is so full of tieflings. It's early. 4 hours in is not very long, but man, the tieflings are all over this game. Just lots of tieflings. If you like those, if you're into a lady with horns, boy howdy, does this game have ladies with horns. Really good though so far. I think the dialogue trees are great. The acting's insanely good. I think the characters are really interesting. I am going to romance the hell out of I forgot her name. Shadowheart. She's a cleric. She's part of the story in a big way. And I'm not just attracted to that weird cube she's carrying around. I want to know more about this lady, and she is really resistant. But
I don't know. She's like the first girl you meet in the game. Like
Scott fell in love at first sight.
Sight.
Like this game's pretty long, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna meet some otherworldly, hot ones.
He hasn't met the bear yet. He could turn it all around for the bear.
I don't. I think it's safe to say Scott's not going to go for the bear. Okay,
I'm not doing the bear.
But there are other planes of existence. It'd just be funny to see. I wonder after Scott's played for a bit if someone hasn't been like, yeah, Shadowheart, yeah. Yesterday's news.
Maybe there's something about her though. I don't know what it is. She just speaks to me. She's my type.
I mean, she is very pretty, but it's definitely giving off like a girl vibes.
It's a fair point, but for me, it's more than that. For me, it's part of what is attractive. It's not. Honestly, it isn't even like a physical thing. It's a freaking video game. It doesn't do that.
It's her voice. Scott fell in love with her voice.
It's her voice, her accent, and her voice. You're not wrong about that. And then thirdly, I think it's her resistance to everything. Like she's mysteriously resistant to everything. She won't tell me why. She won't tell me what that little box is about. She won't give me any real great personal information. I try to have these little conversations with her. How do you think we're doing so far, or whatever? And she'll write back. She goes,
she's mysterious. She's aloof.
Mysterious, yeah.
The only thing he knows about her is she's vaguely racist.
Yeah, a little bit. She just
no, the Githyanki are bastards. Kind of like they're hardcore.
Yeah, they're Klingons in this game, basically.
I think there's going to be a lot of that because I know the Drow are also pretty reviled.
And I forgave that, but then I met somebody else and she was immediately like, I don't know. I was like, okay, we're now 2 for 2 here, lady.
Yeah. They're not.
She's giving off Ashley Williams vibes, kind of.
Once you're fine, I met somebody else and you're like, trust him.
Yep.
You're like, okay, well maybe you're the problem.
Yeah.
It's that old Justified quote. If you meet an asshole in the morning, you met an asshole. If you meet assholes all day, you're the asshole.
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on. You're not wrong about that. But the game is very good about just immersion. I feel like immediately, I don't know, it feels just catered to me like these games should. It's how Baldur's Gate always did back in the day. The one thing I will say is this doesn't feel like how do I say this? It feels like D&D 5th edition for sure, right? I feel like I'm playing a Dungeons and Dragons game. The combat, the spell slots, the short rests, all this stuff is just, immediately in your face and you recognize it. But it doesn't feel like a Baldur's Gate game, and I can't quite put my finger on it. And I don't mean this even in a negative way. I just think the Baldur's Gate games were more of I'm going to the tavern to talk to a dude. And then we'll go see some adventuring out in the forest. It's like a lot more of the basic stereotypes of D&D and tabletop RPGs. And this is not that. This is like you're in a giant freaking ship to start.
It's following the Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man thing, where let's not do an origin story again. Like, because usually hell is like your final act dungeon or place, right? And it's like, no, here you are. Here's like crazy ass mind
We're gonna
flayers.
start in hell.
Here's hell. It's just like it's stuff that's supposed to be revealed as you get deeper and deeper into the mystery of an adventure, and I'm giving Baldur's Gate the shadow of a doubt, but it is one thing I sort of don't like about Forgotten Realms is that it's like dumping the entire Lego box out and playing with the Lego versus just building something specific, if that makes any sense. Like, everything's in here, which I'm on board, but like, that's definitely the Forgotten Realms vibe of just like, here's everything.
Here's
the Gith Yankee. They're a planar race that you will never meet on your home planet until you become 15th level and start traveling the planes or something. And it's just like, nah. These guys are here now. You're learning about the Illithid and the Gith history right away.
Yeah, which I get, right? They want it. They want accessibility. They want, they want D&D to feel less like you're around a table waiting for your turn and more dynamic than that. And that's what video games are kind of. The originals were that way too. They were like they even had a real-time combat system. You could pause and do some strategy, but it wasn't turn-based like this. I will say this though. Larian loves setting shit on fire.
Yeah, that still happens.
Good Lord. You're like...
Well, dip your weapon into it.
Well, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I'd love it, but I forgot because a lot of this does feel new and different than Original Sin 2. It doesn't feel exactly the same, which is good, by the way. This is an uptick for me in terms of points I'm giving it. I didn't want to just walk in here and go, oh, they reskinned the game I already like, but I don't want to pay another $70 to play the same game. I'll just go play that again. It's not that. It really is. It feels new and fresh, and even the combat feels new and fresh to me. And of course, the D&D trappings are there. It's a very different combat system. But I forgot how Larian is happy to make every bit of goo possibly kill you if you're stupid about it. And so it's like, oh, that dumped over? I'm sure that's not a problem. And then somebody fires off ice. Oh, ice interacts with this purple goo in a certain way to kill nearly all of us. Like, you just forget that Larian loves surface stuff. They love surface interaction and environmental hazards and rough terrain.
And
boy,
death.
they loved rough terrain or hard terrain.
Sudden death, so these games make you want to click around a lot.
Yeah.
Because, especially if you've been playing for a while, let me click, and then you rush through something, and then you get instant killed by something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's especially my hardcore playthroughs of Divinity Original Sin 2. It's like, oh, let me open this box without verifying or being careful, and then it blows up in my face and I die.
Yeah.
Or splitting my party up or something, right? So there's definitely that element in this where you have to be careful walking around fire. You have to path around the fire manually, or your guy will just walk through it and take 50% health damage.
Right.
I almost didn't get Shadowheart on my team because she's trapped in that little terminal, and it's like, hey, we're going to get her out. How are we going to get her out? And I was trying to figure it out. And I was like, well, maybe there's this pod hanging near her chamber. And I was like, maybe if I break the pod, it'll, release something and it'll release her. And it dropped corrosive acid on the ground. And I was like, okay, well, I won't step in that. But then when I did eventually free her, she animates out into the acid and starts losing HP. So I real quick talked to her so I would get locked in a dialogue with her.
Yep.
Got her to join the party. Once the conversation was over, she collapsed.
Yep.
And I had to go revive her because she was now being killed by the poison. And then I had to switch to her and run her out of the poison because she also didn't want to follow the party. And I was like, oh my gosh, guys, why'd you put this here?
Is she even worth? Is she even worth all this trouble? It's like, I had a similar thing with her, although I got her out really quick. But Same thing. I thought the interactable was the goo bottle that exploded purple schmear everywhere, but the interactable was a different console, and I didn't know that. So I first blew that up and went, "Oh, no, we don't. Everyone, please don't step in that," sort of attitude I had.
Did you guys make friends with the intellect devourer?
No, I can't remember how
I
he
killed it.
I think I
he
killed
joins you as a companion. You guys are monsters.
I didn't trust him. I killed him.
I don't trust those guys.
The only
he was-
good intellect devourer is a dead intellect devourer.
He was useful and helped me with all the combats, and then dies in the crash. So there's no negative drawback to hanging out with
Well,
the
damn.
friend. Just FYI.
I don't know, I'll do
games
that
like
on
this
my-
are fun because you're like, how did things go differently? And it's like, well, I talked to him. So I'm playing a monk, which I probably gonna change it up.
Wait, let me ask you something real quick though. Do you have a high intelligence?
Average, I think. I don't remember.
Because I think, well, I don't know, but like, what if your high int wizard is like, I'll set you free? It just immediately leaps on your head because
so
you're super smart.
So I'm playing a monk, and I'm deciding to be like kind of a balanced good guy. So I'm going non-lethal. I don't take lives unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And the intellect devourer was a creature, and it wasn't threatening. So I'm like, I'm not going to harm it, even though it's a monster.
Yeah.
And
Are you talking about the one in the pod that gets converted through the process?
Yeah,
the one in the guy's head.
There's a guy's head whose head is half
Oh,
open.
that
and there's
guy.
brain in
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So if you investigate, then you can see that it's in there snug, so you can carefully pop it out.
I did
and
this.
then he becomes your friend, and then he fights for you. He has lots of health. And
Does he always have no crown to his head? It's always his brain hanging out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I should have done this. Now, here's the thing. I actually tried to do this, but I failed a roll and wrecked the brain.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
and I only failed it by a single point, and it wasn't even that high of a roll. I should have gotten it, and I just got bad roll.
Yeah. So what's nice, if you get that, if you go for that after you get Shadowheart, then she has guidance, which will help on those rolls. But anyways, but that's part of the fun. Is a dice rolled is a dice laid, and you kind of do that. But speaking of which, I do have a little bit of a clip to share with everyone because
let's see
that I'll send you the link with the timestamp, and you can just run it.
All right.
But I put it in Discord.
All right.
I think that works. No, that doesn't have a stamp on it. Wait a second, Scott. Don't click that.
No worries. I won't click it yet.
You don't want to accidentally open up Bo's in-depth review of all penises across the races of Faerun.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the penis on my stream.
Yeah, of course.
But anyways, that link there should be timestamps. It should take you to when you find a dying mind flare out in the crash.
I'm sorry. Is this your guy with the little Speedo on?
Yeah, he's a monk. I took off all my clothes. I don't need. I was like, why am I wearing these weird clothes? So I've got like a He-Man bra and tight like blue undies.
He looks like Jaime Lannister turned into the Hulk.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the fiction around this guy is he's the blonde orc.
Yeah.
By the way, why has Warcraft never had a blonde orc? That would be really iconic. They gave all the blonde
Anduin.
Yeah, Anduin, and they could have made a blonde orc and had him be legendary.
Full agree.
But I made the blonde orc, Cassiopean oat-haired, and so this poor creature is dying, and he needs to eat. And I'm a monk, and I'm passive, so I decide to feed him my brain.
Yeah, I didn't do that either.
Yeah, so it might take a little long. You might want to skip ahead a tiny bit, maybe just to see. But like, instead of like killing it or denying it or fighting it, I'm like, I need to understand what he wants. And it's like, well, he's dying. He needs your help.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I do feed him some. Maybe I can give him a nibble of my brain. And maybe something good will come out of this.
I take back my question about your character's intelligence level.
Yeah, no kidding. and then I was like, so here I am. I'm going to feed him my brain. He's looking up at me, and I'm like, here you go. What are you doing? Says Gale. He's like,
by the way, never trust a wizard named Gale, a man named Gale. I'm sorry. It's not even. I don't even mind if you call yourself Shirley, but there's something about Gale I don't trust. I still don't. I may kick him out.
The teammates, the dicks, don't even stop me. They don't hold me back. They just watch me get my brain eaten.
Oh yeah, look at you. You're down. You're
out. So I die, all the teammates die except for Asterion, who I hid in the shadows. So that's why it wasn't a hard lock. I took one of my party members out to hide in the shadows. I'm like, so 3 people are dead, and all I've got left is the vampire elf chilling in the shadows.
Wow. Wow.
And I tried to res them. If you watch a little longer, I tried to res them. I did res them. I got into combat, and you might want to skip ahead because this takes a lot of time. We don't need to watch it for 5,000 years.
Right.
But the net result is the Mind Flayer just one-shotted us all because he's level 5.
Oh,
And
gosh.
then I died.
Wow.
So I don't recommend feeding your brain. But this was like a hard lock. Like I picked options and died, within the first 2 hours of playing the game.
You gotta respect it. I respect that it exists.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
do too.
it's super cool that the game will let you ruin your playthrough. You know, like you wanted to feed your brain to the Mind Flayer. It was a bad idea. Here you go. Here's
Yep.
what you get from it.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool the way he kills. It's pretty epic the way he kills us, though.
Trying to get ahead. You're right. It is kind
Yeah.
of far.
Yeah, it takes a bit of time. All
Um,
right, so yeah, the opportunity attacks are when it's going to happen.
Oh, okay, when you
Just-
pull away.
just a touch back here. Yeah, hang on.
Okay, looks like he's about to do it. Oh, your silly clothes.
I
Oh wait,
punch
you're
him.
about to reload. Hold on.
I think Bo's just trying to figure
it
out
goes.
when this
Dead.
goes bad. When am I loading back to?
There it
Yep,
is.
there it is.
Yeah. Dead. So
Yeah.
I think it speaks to why, like, if people at home want to know why this game's 122 gigabytes, I think that's the answer. The game is so full of
17,000 endings?
little things. Like, I had to restart at one point because I can't remember. Oh no, I had to go back to a save that was so much earlier than I was at, and I realized, oh shoot, I should have quick saved before this fight. I should have scum saved. Yes, that's right. I don't mind. And I didn't. And so I had to go back
You're
to a
allowed
certain
in the
point.
game.
And when I got all the way back there, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna not try to take her. This is early. I'm not gonna try to take Shadowheart or whatever her name is, her cube thing this time. I'm just gonna wake her up and see what the difference is. Whole different interaction than I would have had I tried to steal it again, or not try to steal it, but just sneak a look at it. And I think that's important for a game like this. I want this kind of to feel like it's unfolding in its own way every time. It'll make replaying it much funner. So yeah, to me, this is a huge selling point and the reason people should get this game in general.
Yeah, I think your actions actually have meaningful consequences, and it's one of those choices matter games. Because after we got out of the ship, Shadowheart took a minute to talk to me and say, like, by the way, you didn't have to rescue me, and that bitch Gith Yankee was telling you not to, but you did it anyways.
Yeah.
So I'll remember that. I hope to repay the favor.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, maybe like in Act 3, you're about to die, and Shadowheart comes bursting out and goes, Scott, I love you, and saves you from the demon thing. Like,
I forgive you for trying to take my cube.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my run through now with the new save is me waking her up and helping her first before I even ask about the cube. So hopefully she'll remember that, and I'll be in better shape.
I've guilted myself into what I think is going to be starting over.
Oh, really?
I
I'm
could
starting over
save
for
scum
sure.
it. I could save scum it. To be fair, I did check, and I can reload at the beginning. But I also know more now, and I kind of got a feel for the game, and I kind of want a fresh start. But I had an interaction with an owlbear that went real not good, and I didn't feel good about it. And I ended up feeling real awful about myself.
Yeah.
Like a lot of D&D parties when it goes wrong and you just don't feel like a good human being.
Oh, yeah.
I wound up there, and I was like, maybe I'll restart the game.
Yeah,
no,
but
I
this is such
definitely have to play this more than once.
Oh,
Like,
hell yeah.
so,
It's that kind of
like,
game, right? You
because
can't just do
I
it
wanna-
one time.
I want to play like different characters to see how they go through, and like depending on how the multiplayer thing shakes out. But I've made 7 characters so far.
Jeez.
Like I can't decide. When I streamed, I really liked the monk. Chat room voted. I was thinking Bard, but I wanted to save Bard for a multiplayer game because that's obnoxious and worth a lot of laughs, And then I was like, but what if I was a ranger? And then I made a ranger, and then I'm like, druid seems cool, and I made a druid. And I want to be a wizard, so I made a wizard, and so I made a barbarian, and I made a bard, and I just even before the show, that's why I was kind of late. I was kind of lost in making that now. I made a monsoon cabbage
Nice.
style character who is I think what I'm going to play through is as a face rogue, so I don't do a lot of damage. It's just all social skills because he's sort of like a master manipulator kind of guy, right? So
Yeah.
I want to just be like persuasion, intimidation, deception checks, no combat. And I think that's kind of what I'm going to try to do.
So, John, you did something I wanted to bring up before I forget, because Bo reminded me of it, and that is he's making all these characters, right? Some may think going into this game that you're going to build a party of, say, 5 characters that now roll together, and that's the game, and you made every character you're rolling with. That's not how it works. You make a character or choose a pre-build, and then you go with these characters that are already in the game. You don't make your whole party.
Yeah, it's maybe the one thing that I wish was different. I'm not 100% sure why they decided to go this route, because if you do play with other people, it is a full custom party, so I don't see why they would, like, even if they make it challenging to do, where it's like, okay, well, you have to be familiar enough with the game to achieve it. I do wish that they would let you make your own complete party, because I had aspirations of going through the game. You get a 4-person party. We had a 4-person party in our campaign. I was going to make Stanley, Hope, Nash, and Varel and just try and adhere to our characters and just see how they did on this campaign together. But they don't really do that. And
There is a way to do it, though.
Is
is
there?
there a way? Because I tried to look and see, and I saw some things that said, here's how you do it. But then I also saw some things that said they shut it down during the beta.
Oh.
That's
So-
possible, but the way that I'm thinking is like when players, I've heard people talk about like players randomly joining people's parties because they didn't set their permissions about your game, because there is drop in, drop out.
Right.
Like I can
Oh.
drop into any of my friends' games if I want. I think it's possible to leave and your characters to stay, so you could like
Oh, you could.
have them in your
Hack it.
save. Now, it would require your friends to help you, but you could get it that way. And I'm wondering if there isn't a way just to do that yourself with your own save files, like to kind of maybe try to import somehow.
They
from
should
there.
just support it. Like, I think there is an interest in it, and I can kind of see why. And I mean, even though
'Cause
that's what I
multiplayer
wanted to
does it,
do
right?
going in,
Mm-hmm.
I do see interacting with the other characters that they've put a lot of time and effort on these other characters and your interactions with them. When you do take a long rest, usually in these types of games, long rest means fade to black, say that they slept, and give everybody their spell slots and health
Yeah.
back. Like that's traditionally what it's been.
Mm.
In this, it takes you to a full-on camp where you get
Yep.
to talk with all the other characters and you get things to do and all of that. There is a hireling system which I haven't played with to see if you make them or if it just brings in people. But anyway, they've put a lot of time into it, so I actually do think for a first playthrough, playing with the characters they made is probably smart. But I would love to see Larian add an option to easily roll with a custom party, even solo, because I think that's just something that a lot of people will probably want to do.
Mm.
And it's something I would want to do before I'm done with this game. Although I do think that now that I'm going to start a new playthrough, I'm going to go through it more with the mindset of fresh eyes, experiencing it as a new character. Whereas originally I made Stanley Billings from our campaign
Right.
and just rolled as him, which was cool. Like, it was neat
Yeah.
to see him as he was. Like, his stats were a little less because it didn't roll for my stats, but like, see him with the abilities he had at that level, going through the game, and it really does a good job of adhering to 5th edition. And as somebody who spent a ton of time on D&D Beyond making other characters and playing with it, like, there's something so cool about the level up screen, going to these other characters and going, oh, they're a cleric. I understand how clerics work.
Yeah.
I want this spell, this spell, this spell. This is what I want. Like, I'm going in with knowledge. It's not like when I played Divinity and every level was like, okay, I got to read and try and understand what all of these things are. Like, I go in and go, oh no, I pretty much know how this works. Some things are different. It's not 1-to-1, but in general, like, it plays like 5th edition. And so when I made my bard, I was like, no, I know I want him to have this and this and this. No prestidigitation, but that would probably be a hard skill to put in the game.
No, and they also people are
So
walking
Stanley's-
around so dirty in this game. Like you mentioned the camping thing, and I really liked that. It was like my long rest meant something more, and there was even things to loot in there, which I thought was cool. So I ended up with gold that wasn't anyone's. It was just in a box somewhere, and it would just happen to be by our camp. So I like this idea that our long rest is more than just a fade to black. But while I was there, a few things happened. One, I saw Gale messing around with his mirror image, and he irritated me. I don't know what it is about wizards. They're just irritating to me. So he irritated me for a while, and I don't trust him. And
I
then
think he's got scoundrel vibes for sure.
oh yeah, for sure. I just don't trust him at all. But then I talked I had some meaningful conversation with my lady friend that I like, our cleric lady. And
Yeah.
then what was I going to say? To your point, what was I going to say? I forgot. It was cool and I did it. And now I don't remember. And it was during that.
About how it's similar
Everything
to
was
5th
dirty.
edition.
Oh,
yeah, everything's dirty.
Everything's
yeah.
dirty. So everybody in that place has not cleaned up at all from the fighting we've been doing. So there's blood on everyone's face, dried blood on their arms, and dirt and grime and all this. And the first thing I did was, where's Stanley and his freaking prestidigitation gun that he constantly shot all over us? But yeah, that's a cool feature.
Oh, yeah,
I like that they did that.
prestidigitation, eh?
Yeah, I don't think it's in
I'm
there.
surprised because even though it would be a hard spell to implement for a game that does use ground effects, I feel like the ability to clean and like dirty, like I feel like it could be used. But
Well, not only that, the
prestidigitation
characters
is a little like
the characters
little
are
weird.
dirty. Like I'm with you on like the ground stuff. There's oil and there's fire and there's ash and all this stuff, but also the characters show the wear of dealing with all of that. You'd think it wouldn't be that hard to add that. I don't know if people would want to
just
have it in there.
click the button and now everybody's clean.
Yeah, I mean they obviously have to cut some. As much as this adheres to 5th edition, there are things they cut. I would say this.
Uses too.
Here's a warning to people who played Divinity Original Sin 2 and really enjoyed that game with its combat system and its action point system specifically, because if you've never played D&D but you love that last game and you're like, oh, these guys made this, I'm back in because I love that game they just made, so I'll love this one. You might still, but it is a little jarring if you're used to the AP system in that game versus this, which is there's movement AP, kind of. It's not really AP, but it's a distance thing, little
Right, you get a
gauge.
move, an action, a bonus action, and reaction.
Right, and you have you're limited to your spell slots. You've got cantrips, but you've only got one action, and maybe you have an ability to get a second action, or there are bonus actions, but like it's adherent to that system, not to Larian's custom system, and that may throw some people if you've never played D&D or don't know you're getting into that. I worry about that with some people a little bit.
By the way, prestidigitation not only cleans, but it can soil. So you can actually make enemies dirty.
Whoa.
Yeah, dirty them up.
I'm
can
glad
just
you told
flick
us
your
this now.
Finger
'cause-
at someone and they're covered in poo.
yeah, because
I do feel like I have it sometimes because if I click like a candle or something, I light it. But I think anybody can do that. But I was
Oh.
like, oh, at least Stanley can still do that.
Here's something we didn't you didn't use it for. Sorry, I don't mean to say that like that, but just it's because you can chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material. So you could have like spiced up food with your prestidigitation.
Yeah.
The flavor part, I was like, you can flavor things, non-living material.
Really?
I did it a lot in
Yeah.
the other game I was playing with Ben because we had I think it was a paladin or a cleric that could create food, but the food always was tasteless. So I would use prestidigitation to flavor the food.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
awesome.
You could have flavored Nash's poo bucket or chest.
Yeah, I could have.
Could have warmed it up too.
Yeah.
Actually, you could have chilled it to prevent it from smelling as much.
Oh, see?
Um,
Stanley.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
were
you
you
can do a
thinking?
lot with this, and I think they should have done it. You can also instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. So if you're like a dark vision guy and there's like a light with the enemies ahead, you could flick out the light on them and make it harder for you. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. The spell's
cool.
not in the game, but
I
whatever.
love prestidigitation. It is one
Yeah,
of my
it's awesome.
favorite spells.
Yeah.
But it is one of those spells that I always hear DMs not loving because people always want to make it more than a cantrip.
Right.
Like it's supposed to be pretty limited in what you can do with it, but people are like, it said I can chill, so I freeze the bomb. You know, like it's just immediately suddenly becomes way more powerful.
It doesn't freeze; it chills.
Like
it makes the temperature lower. Freezing is another thing. But yes,
I have played with a over prestidigitator as much as I overdid it, but mine was usually just to make Nash clean because he was always dirty.
He's so damn gross all the time.
Yeah.
I do think the game has a really good handle on why all these combinations of things we're talking about make for really interesting encounters in a video game, and I really like how it plays out so far. So again, I'm only 4 hours in, but the way combat's working, the way story's working, the way choices seem to be mattering, this feels like a special game. This feels like one that is not one to sleep on. If you like RPGs, it's like a no-brainer. You kind of have to play this in a weird way. And I know there are players in our community who are like, I don't like D&D, so I'm probably not going to like this. You probably won't. You might like the story, and there is a mode for just focus on story. Although I've heard that mode is a little difficult, even then.
I mean, the middle of the road, I got in a fight with against 6 bandits, and I was like, all right, let's fight. And I died very quickly and easily. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
I got to be careful. I can't just do whatever I want and hope it works out for the best. Yeah. I got to use some tactics in this because it can go real bad real quick.
Yeah, you can't just spam. Basically, you can't just spam firebolts and win. In that mode is what I understand, and I haven't messed with it. I've only tried middle of the road. But if you're thinking tactically, and it takes time, and you're like, well, wait, there's a barrel there full of oil. I could use that to screw these 4 people. That's my AOE chance right here. Then you can, and there are ways to win all those fights. But boy, am I always hoping for a rest. I am always bloodied, and everyone's always effed up after we're done. And
that's like the D&D experience, though, right?
Yeah,
you are not very strong in the beginning, and you have to be innovative. Later on, when you have 15 fireballs, then you can handle whole squads of people. Like I think that's where you get the feeling that you've made progress in D&D.
Yeah, that's the quote unquote power fantasy. Although I saw your tweet and your thread about that, and you'd like that to go away. You don't want that.
I don't like that term, power fantasy.
Yeah, I don't either. But you know what I mean. Like
I mean, progress is fun. It's not a power. I don't think of that as a power fantasy.
That's true. What's the word for this? There's a word.
Power fantasy is like the buzzword. You hear it a lot with Diablo, which just means like, you feel like you're a god. Like you can mow people down. But like, it's a fantasy, right? I mean, I feel pretty empowered in my life. I don't need a power fantasy. That's kind of why I hate it. Like I'm not, I'm looking for a challenge in a video game, and then I'm looking to figure out how to overcome the challenge, and then feel good about it. Using the tools. That's not a power fantasy. That's accomplishment. So it's a designer games with accomplishment in mind, not power fantasy.
To me, power fantasy was always like, and it depends. Anything can be misused, but like to me, power fantasy is if you're gonna play a Transformers game, the power fantasy is you should feel like a big robot. If you play a Transformers game and it plays exactly like, I don't know, Mario, you don't feel big, lumbering. You don't feel like one hit kills you immediately. You're like, well, I don't feel like a big robot. You can't transform. That's not hitting the power fantasy of being a giant robot.
I guess it's just the fantasy in that page.
No, I think that's just the fantasy. Yeah. I would just drop power from that.
Yeah.
Like what you're talking about is when I play Red Dead Redemption, do I feel like a cowboy? Like it doesn't have to be power. It's just the fantasy. Like I think you're right.
Yeah.
I just think you drop power from that. I think power fantasy... Because I've been hearing it a lot in the context of Diablo, which is like, can I clear the screen? I'm not happy unless I'm clearing the screen, or I'm not happy unless I'm, have big megaton things that trivialize essentially the challenge.
Plus, it has kind of has a dick aspect to it, where you're a tyrant kind of. That kind of power fantasy.
It just implies like a power fantasy is like. BDSM, when you're the dominant, you're having a fantasy of power because you're playing. Like
that's just how I feel when I play Diablo. I definitely want to be
the bottom.
I definitely want to be the dominant.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to be the bottom.
No,
I played season 1. I felt like a bottom, and I was like, I'm definitely in my head on the top.
You were a sorcerer, I take it.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't. This isn't the contract I thought I was entering.
But you know what I
just
mean?
started saying my safe word over and over again, and these demons kept coming.
Yeah.
It's corpo speak that I find leaks into a lot of dev talks, and I really hate it. Because I also hate that the word everyone all of a sudden knows the word bespoke. It's sort of the same thing. It's like
I hate bespoke.
I mean, I'm seeing it all the time, and I'm like, dude, no one was
Annoys me.
saying bespoke. No one knew that word 6 months ago, and now everyone's saying it just to look cool. And from what I gather, maybe I think if you're in United Kingdom, bespoke actually is a word you might use, but not in America, not in Canada, not in Australia.
Yeah, I don't buy it when they do it here.
It just means custom, as far as I know, I think. So just use the word custom.
Yeah, just say custom.
You're
I
just
like that.
trying to like be fancy.
So, and in Canada's case, Customs has taken the package from the U.S. and lost it, and now I must send another one.
Yeah, no, not those customs.
Oh.
I mean, like custom
Gotcha.
trim work or something like that.
No, I know what you mean.
Or-
But
Yeah,
every
please,
time I
don't
send
want it to be called bespokes.
every
instead
time
of
I send
customs.
anything to Canada, like something from our store to Canada, it always gets lost. I swear, always. I don't know what's going on up there, you guys, with your
It's wild. They got mooses.
the moose have failed. The mice,
You gotta watch out.
the mooses, whatever it is, plural. I guess just moose.
Moosin'.
Moosin'. I like moosin'.
I got some. You guys
yeah.
have any wish list stuff? Because Larian's pretty good at supporting their games after, and I feel like we probably have a few fans over at Larian who might be listening right now. Just
Whoa, do you
considering
now?
some of the inspiration for their game taken from our campaign. But
okay.
Subtle jab.
It's not a jab. You know what?
He said it
I don't
so
mind it.
nice, but like the guy
No.
was like, "Oh, thanks," and then he turned around. He's like, "Why is there a knife in my back?" How'd this happen?
I don't feel that I'm not that mad about it. I just I'm half expecting that Nash will show up somewhere in this campaign or some reference to him. I kind of hope that, and I'd be cool with that. I think overall I'm very happy with this game, but I feel like there's some inspiration definitely taken from TWBD and some of what I've seen. Not that I'm getting into it, and that's okay. We all get inspired from each other, and it's fine.
Sure.
But yeah, I have a feeling. There's somebody there that's heard our campaign for sure, and so because we're talking about it, I have demands.
Yeah.
I've
about
got a
the
wish
game,
list.
unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's your wish list
I got a
then?
couple things.
What do you want out of it?
Just a full-on character creator. First of all,
this thing's a little limited in that way. Whether
I don't want to start the campaign. I just want to make rosters. Since I'm making a lot of characters, I want a roster, please.
yeah,
And I had another one, but I forgot.
I'd
so
like
I'll
more
just-
than 3 faces. There's only like 3 face choices for each character. Like there's little things like that. I think they could expand on some.
You want just a little more variety.
Just a little bit. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, well,
but
what do you
know.
guys think about this? This is feedback I've heard a lot, and I defend it, but I wouldn't say no to it. That your main character, I don't know if it's true if you pick a pre-made. Actually, I want you to tell me, Scott.
Okay.
But when you do a custom character, your character is not voice acted.
Oh, interesting.
No, I have heard my character. Not all the time, not often, but
in
my
dialogue.
character does. My character does talk sometimes.
So the pre-mades talk when you haven't selected them, but if I choose one to be that person, they don't talk during any of the dialogue conversations. They will say things out in the world, like my character will sometimes say, "Oh, what is this over here? We should probably investigate." And then a girl will say, "Yeah, that's right. Let's go over the hill and check it out," or whatever. So they'll talk, but when I am in a conversation like the cinematic style conversations and dialogue trees, he doesn't make a peep, no words. So that would be nice if some of that was spoken.
And like they need to put some more voices for what they're doing in there, because I played a half orc, and all the voices are like, "Hello, there's a treasure chest down the hall," or "Hello, there's a treasure." I want some Metzen up in my shit. I want hello, like there's no growly orky guy. Like I want prototype, stereotype, archetypical orc voice, please. And there's not one so. We need more player voices. I can tell you that right off the bat.
Here's his reaction when he heard it. They didn't have it.
You imagine that shit?
Okay, that's what he said.
Well, no, not that version of Chris Benson.
Hi guys, I'm an orc.
Hi, I'm an orc. I'm Chris Metzen, the orc. How you doing? John, what would you say is your big wish list they could add to
Well,
this game?
first I will piggyback off of Bo and say more character voice options. Specifically, I can't believe that this fantasy game opted not to have a Southern gentleman voice option for my.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I know that like maybe it was too obvious to have your
John?
character talk like that.
Oh, John, they need to bake in. Maybe you can do the voice lines.
I'll do
Like
it.
put a
Have me-
folder and say like, here's 56
Oh,
ways.
you mean just do it myself?
just
and
AI
do your
training.
own-
Valerian and do it for free.
Just AI train it. That's that. I mean, the one use of case for
Well,
AI
that
that I
too.
actually like, and I'm no offense to any of my voice actor friends, especially Liam, if you're listening.
Careful, Scott.
But in games, though, because you're not actually taking work away from a voice actor for a character that otherwise isn't saying anything, these systems are strong enough that I could say 30 seconds of dialogue, put it into the game. That would be enough for it to train a voice, and then everything my character said would be in that voice, and it would be dynamically. Like you could do that tomorrow. It wouldn't be a big deal. In fact, if I would say if this game was in early development and we were still 5 years away from it, we would see something like that. And here's my guess.
I mean, I pay a few bucks for a Liam voice back. as
Well, yeah,
DLC.
I'd pay for that too. But yeah, if Liam
I mean,
wants
I like
to
the
be
AI idea, but I don't. You know.
if you want it to be your voice, I'm saying your own voice. You know.
But yeah, no,
I like the idea where I go to Larian and I say, guys, you're missing a Stanley Billings voice. This is what it sounds like. Put me in the booth and I'll read it.
Hey,
That's
there
what I
will be
wanna do.
Dungeons voice pack DLC. We'll do player character lines.
Yeah.
$5, you get Hope, Varel.
The opening
Nash.
scene, the mind flayer, all of a sudden a little gnome comes in and just goes, Captain, we're under attack.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll deliver my gnome. I'll deliver my monsoon cabbage.
Yep.
And who else is iconic that I do? John's got to do Diantelis. He's the better Diantelis. But
Yeah.
who else? Omnom. We need or
Omnom.
Diptech. You guys really like Diptech. I have Diptech.
Diptech was great.
Walnut was good.
Walnut
it was
was
just a
great.
normal voice.
Yeah.
But
Captain.
Whoops, that's that one. Where's
Captain.
Back to Pokemon Go.
That's not it. I can't find it. But somewhere in here, I have that one where you do the walnut.
If you need anything, just say walnut.
If you need me, just say. Yeah, I love that.
And my brain is like, oh fuck.
No, that's not it. That's definitely not it.
That might have been
Anyway,
easy,
yeah,
but-
more voice options. I agree. I do think genuinely, jokes aside, I like that too. But jokes aside, I do want to see the ability to make a 4-person custom party.
Yep.
You know, somehow for solo play, not just for multiplayer. And just specifically to my own interests, I think you should add the College of Glamour and maybe even the College of Eloquence to the Bard.
Oh.
College of Glamour, the one I went with for Stanley, and College of Eloquence, the one that got added after Stanley, that's eerily similar to the premise of Stanley.
You put 64 subclasses in, but you should put more.
Yeah, put 2 more.
They're
Just
my
those 2.
subclasses.
Just
those
the
2.
2 I care about.
Not a
You
problem.
You worry about other people later, but for now, cater to me.
I would pile on to both of your suggestions. I think those are both excellent. My third thing I would add is I want a full scenario designer thing. They kind of did it with Original Sin 2, but like a comprehensive go in there, make a scenario, build out a bunch of dialogue. And if you don't have characters that can speak it, you can only choose from the trees and that's the dialogue or whatever. I don't care, but just something where it isn't just this campaign forever. There will be ones that you can go download that people have made. I don't know if it's Steam Workshop support or where you put these, but give people the ability to generate content.
Yeah, I'm actually going to one up you there because I've been thinking a lot about this on my downtime in the days leading up to this. But considering how much effort they spent on this thing, this should be a licensable engine. Like, you know how BioWare had the engine, made multiple games with it. Like, I think they're probably just going to make Divinity in 5 years.
Oh, they are.
I would love to see what they've done here. You know, like maybe some tools or something like that, open source, and let's get some other products in here. Let's do I'm leaving my job soon. Maybe I'll make that There Will Be Dungeons CRPG. I don't know.
Do
I'm
it.
like,
Do it. This
like,
game,
so
this game uses
pre-built stuff. Like, just yeah.
This uses what they call, it's their own custom engine called the Divinity engine. They could license it. I mean, it'd be up to them, right? But also when when you invest a ton in your own engine, though, my experience at least seems to be that they will hold on to it for dear life, and it's the Unreals and the id Tech 4s and stuff that
maybe not open source, but maybe like to a few partners who can also develop for the engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of what you're saying. You're like saying like, give me RPG Maker tools, like like some games do, and that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to, like, if I was to, it'd be fun to make an RPG, and the 5e rules are already in there. Like we could use literally every like everything in there and just cobble together another game from a lot of the existing assets. You know?
To me, it's like the Neverwinter Nights game that BioWare made. They were trying to build what was essentially a DM thing, and it's never, no one's ever quite nailed that. That other one that we played recently, what's that one called? The 5e open source one. Solasta has.
They're up to 3 campaigns now.
Yeah, they got 3 campaigns still in early access, but they've got this creator thing that just gets more robust all the time. The assets, the stuff they keep including, triggers and event.
I think they're done. I think they're moving on to a new project soon. Actually,
are they? Okay. But they've tried and they've done a pretty good job. But like what I'm saying is, it's kind of a holy grail that nobody's really figured out how to make a scenario creator in a game that's easy-ish for people to get into, and then have a really dynamic experience poop out of it. I wish somebody could do that. So you could just basically, I guess you could say, well, then just play D&D. I understand, but I like. The sound work, one of the things we haven't talked about, the sound work in this game, aside from voices, and they're good too, but is really good. It's meaty and beefy, and they match the effects, and the environmental sounds are awesome, and the music's really good. And like, I want those kinds of things in my scenario creator that we never get.
Yeah, no, for sure. I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that's the direction we go. I think there's a good chance we're definitely going to get. I think they're going to do an X-Pack, right? Well, maybe, I don't know. Larian's not known for it, but every Baldur's Gate's had an X-Pack.
Oh, have they? I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot. I think they poured everything to kitchen sink in here, but there's still a part of me that's like, I mean, Wizards would definitely be behind it. So,
sure.
I don't know.
Well, it's going to sell a metric shit ton of these, so I think they're going to have the money to do that if they want to.
It's not like an X-Pack. The scope might be a little different. Maybe they split into 2 teams. That company's grown quite a bit, so who knows?
Yeah.
But it's still early to be thinking about stuff like that, but I could see it.
Yeah, I'm still like, if I was going to say one downside to this game that I'm trying to figure out is how dauntingly big it is. Yeah. Every time I sit down to play it, there's a point yesterday where I was like, I've got 30 minutes to play. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do in 30 minutes in this game? It's not enough time. And I've actually had more points with this game where I've gone, I could play for a little bit. Oh, I can't. That's too much. I don't have enough time, and stepped away from it because it was too big and too scary and too daunting. This game is huge in a good way, but I just kind of want to immerse myself in it, and finding time to immerse myself in a game is really, really hard right now.
They have publicly said no X-Pack, and chat room reminded me of that, but I mean, Supergiant wasn't going to do a Hades sequel, and now we have Hades 2. And this is also a Wizards property. So even if Larian's like, we're out, I'm sure Wizards is going to be like, can we make more money? Like we'll find a team B to help, an Obsidian style developer who will make, who are probably big fans of the game and will make the X-Pack for you, or Baldur's Gate 4 or Icewind Dale 2.
Oh, shit. I would love an Icewind Dale 2. Well, I guess there was.
That's what I mean.
They made Icewind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want a 3, I guess. So yeah, it's Icewind Dale 3.
You're right. My bad. But enough work was poured into this thing, that they should just easily hammer out some 5e games and not need. There's a lot of problems already solved, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think you could spit out more than one adventure, and I'm sure Wizards is thinking about it, if not Larian.
I would take a Wizard, or I would take a Divinity 3 though, like in a heartbeat.
No, I'd almost rather that, because I know if Larian keeps working on D&D, we're not going to get more Divinity, and I love Divinity. And what, like you said, like I think one of the comments you made about combat is true. It's like it's very lethal because D&D is just hit points.
Right.
But I actually really liked the armor. I like the combat system. It's very puzzly.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're gonna get that with Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm okay with that. But I'd be sad if I didn't get another combat system like Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah, Divinity's got a really cool combat system. Well, there you go, everybody. Our extensive thoughts, and we'll have more as we go on because we're going to be playing this for a long time, I think. But this game is rad so far. And so far living up to the hype for me. I mean, overall, 4 hours is not enough to get.
I barely played it.
It's incredible, but yeah.
Yeah, it's that, like you guys say, it is daunting. Like, part of me is like, well, I've only, you could, at the same time, these two things are true. I'm only 4 hours in, I could start over. And also, I'm 4 hours in, I don't want to start over, you know? It's
Exactly.
like, both things are true. It's like, I know how big this is going to be, and I know this isn't going to be my last run. And I want to do, some co-op, see how that works, like all those things. But just so far, I'm just really impressed with it. Those guys know how to make a cool game. I also played, so here's the other thing I played. I played the first episode of The Expanse, a Telltale series. And big thanks to Telltale for the code they sent me. I was a little bummed that this thing was only an hour or so long. Oh, yeah, John's supposed to say, they know there are 3 people on this show?
I mean, I just, considering I've played so many Telltale games, I just hope that they would know that there were 3 people.
Yeah, they're
on
supposed
the
to be
show.
tracking you after all your dedication.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an advocate for Tales of the Borderlands, which was really amazing. Scott didn't even play that one. He just watched me play that.
It was great watch, too. I really enjoyed that. I think
Tales of the Borderlands is so good. It actually kind of ruined future Borderlands for me because they tried to capitalize on it, and friggin' Gearbox didn't know what to do with all those characters and just ruined them all. So I just got extra mad.
Yep, I agree.
But, man, Tales from the Borderlands is so good. The Batman games are so good. One of the most interesting takes on the Joker I've ever seen.
Yep.
I love Telltale games. Hi, I'm also on the show.
Yeah, he's off. John would like a code next time, please. I played this entirely in one sitting because really it literally is only an hour for the first episode. Second episode doesn't come out for another week or something. Their commitment is every 2 weeks, they said, to get the entire series out. A lot of the review sites have got the first 3 episodes reviewed, and they're all pretty glowing. I think that even just the one episode is extremely good. It captures the sensibilities of that universe really well, and the character drummer was one of my favorites, if not my favorite, from the show. This is her. It's entirely focused around her, and it is the actress Cara Gee, I never know how to say her last name, doing her work, and she's amazing in it. A few other recognizable names. They've swapped out some people that are just too big to be in here again, like Anderson Dawes is played by a different voice actor. It's fine. I do miss Jared Harris, but that guy's in big demand.
He's pretty iconic in that role too, as Anderson Dawes.
Yeah, kind of hard to replicate, but it's fine. And you don't see him. I've only heard him over a radio.
Is it prequel or sequel to the TV show?
This is supposed to be. Somebody was saying it was 3 years after the events of the show, but I don't think that's true. I haven't gone to confirm this, so it'd probably be easy, quick Google, and I just haven't done it. But it feels like there's stuff going on with people that the way she's talking about them, it's too early to have these these conversations mean much more if it was really after the show. So I actually think it might not be. So I'm not sure, I guess is the answer. Really compelling though so far, and intense, lots of swears. They're not holding back on the not gore, but you know how that show was. It's like, hey, if someone's got a head chopped off, we're going to show it. Here it is.
Space is harsh. It's harsh. It's like frontier living.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's really good. I'm super happy with it so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series coming out. And it does kind of make me want to wait for them all because I don't want to just do an hour each. But
Yeah, that's why I'm ultimately waiting, because I'm like, I know I'm gonna like it. It's hearing good things, and then it's gonna hurt
Yeah.
so much to have to wait.
It's good though. And speaking of decisions that seem to matter, they feel very meaty. These decisions. I guess I'll have to wait and see how it goes. But like all Telltale games, at the end it says the percentage of people who chose this over this are this, and these many people killed so and so, and these many people let them live or whatever. They have that at the end of each episode, and it's good. It's real good. And I got a takedown notice on YouTube, although it's back up now, but I have to share revenue because my stream playthrough, they claimed a copyright strike for the theme to The Expanse, which is in here, of course. So I would just like to say one more time to the world, if you're going to have a game with music in it and you know the world wants you to stream it, in fact, you sent me a code so I would stream it, you got to work with YouTube and Twitch and everybody to understand that, yes, you have this theme in the game.
I wonder if there's anything in the terms of the game that allow you to do it. Like, I know Blizzard had language in there one time because I got claimed and then I supplied it. And then
well, someone needs to tell the robots at YouTube that they have the rights, because it was so stupid. But anyway, they took it down. Now it's back up. Part of the claim, they let that part go. They demonetized me, but that's fine. I just think it's so dumb the way this stuff works. Because who cares? It's freaking. It's a video game with this music in it. What do you think? I mean, you think people are gonna line up on their phones and go, all right, I'm gonna record this off this YouTube thing over my speakers. Now I've got the Expanse theme for free. Like, what are you even doing?
It's so dumb.
It's dumb.
Like, I just get mad every time I go down this rabbit hole. I literally had a conversation with my wife where I was talking about it, and she just turned around and walked away because she just knew it was not going to stop anytime soon. I was just like, they're so dumb. It's just this archaic way that they can keep their jobs because they don't have any talent, because the future got moved on from the music industry. So now it's just a bunch of lawyers trying to keep themselves and their progeny. And she just walked away.
She's like,
She was
John,
like, you know what? She made the right choice. Yeah. Like, I just get so mad about it. It's like, heaven forbid more people encounter your music. Like, we live in an era where people don't listen to the radio as much. Like, you're at the whims of Spotify and Suggested and Apple Music and stuff like that. Like, you should be taking every opportunity to have your music featured on any avenue that it possibly can be. And instead you're bottling it up and hoarding it like a dragon. Just stop. Just stop and let the music exist out there. Oh my gosh, it's dumb.
It's so dumb. And I was reminded of how dumb it is. Anyway, it's really good. I would put a big fat recommendation on this game. I also played a game on PlayStation Plus because I've been exploring that since I'm subscribed again, and I just kind of want to see what's all on there. PlayStation Plus Extra, I should say. And the game I played a bunch of time, or spent a bunch of time with, is a game called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. I was in the mood for a kind of a, I don't know, Metroidvania side-scrolling platformer. Just in the mood. And if you are familiar with Wonder Boy, the series of games starting in like 86, they're really old. Or is that old? Hold on. Wonder Boy came
86?
out. What's the first year? Yep, 86. April of 86. The very first game was an arcade game called Wonder Boy. Man. It was a Sega game developed by West Tone Bit Entertainment. Anyway, no one knows who they are now. This game ended up being launched on Master System, Genesis, that kind of stuff, and then there was a ton of sequels for all these years. There's been Wonder Game Boy or games since then on various platforms for as far back as 1986. And this is the latest in that series of games and this one's called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. There are also other Monster Boy games, but they're all in the same world. Anyway, this actually came out in 2018. I hadn't heard of this release. I'd heard of the older games. And we were going to cover some of that stuff on Play Retro, and I thought, well, I'm going to see what this new thing's about. This game is rad. It is really fun. They basically more Metroidvania and less just simple platforming. So there's tons of like Metroidvania ideas in here. All kinds of weapons and gear upgrades and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's side-scrolling goodness. It's animated really cool. Story's funny. The characters say funny shit. Like, I don't know if that's the translation or what, but it's really good. And it's not anime bullshit the way I would say sometimes, like that. Anyway,
I like the way they do their water. I need to ask them how they did that.
and
The
it
water's
did.
cool.
Super.
I like the
Super
look of
Lake
it.
Run. I want it like a line like that.
Sure, why not?
It's not easy to do. I've been having a
Quality
hard time
looking
with them.
game.
Yeah, it has a nice look to it. It's colorful, bright, great sound effects and stuff. It is challenging, but not too challenging. It just feels like the right amount of that stuff. When it was released, it reviewed pretty well. It was originally on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and they all had, 80 to 95 is kind of the general range of scores, which I think is about how this feels. It feels like a good one of those. And yeah, I if you have Plus, there's no reason not to play this if you just got a little bit of a hankering for a little bit of old school platforming and a little bit of new school ideas. It's all kind of in here. You see him jumping over all this water. In an old game, this would just be a place to avoid and jump on the platforms. But in this game, you acquire a set of steel boots that let you sink to the bottom of the ocean. And then there's all kinds of new shit to do down there. So a lot of that's some of the Metroidvania stuff that comes into it. Just a lot of like, not backtracking per se, but like I'm already in the area that I want to explore, and I got these boots now. Now I can switch to those boots anytime I want for the rest of the game, and anything that involves going underwater, I now have the ability to do it. Just a little surprised, didn't expect it, didn't know it was going to be anything. I had no real expectations other than I used to be a big Wonder Boy fan, and this did not disappoint. And that is available on PlayStation Plus right now.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like it. John, let's get to the Frog Wrestling update for the week.
Yeah, let's tie it back into D&D here because we did a crossover this week. It was supposed to be free preview number 2, but I needed more time. So this week we crossed over Frog Wrestling with There Will Be Dungeons, and we had myself fight Stanley Billings. Scott, you fought Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines. Kyle fought Varel, Kristen fought Hope, and Bo fought Diane Talus. Because we had to have our DM fight somebody, so we threw him in there too.
All right.
And it was a good time. Boy, those D&D characters are pretty tough. They really did a number on us. The only one who was able to beat his D&D avatar and beat him insanely easily was actually you. You crushed poor Nash Maggard.
Oh, that's a shame.
Damn, you're a wrestling phenom, Scott.
In what was the shortest match I think we've maybe ever had. A match so quick that when they gave the rating at the end of the match, it just said bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. That crowd was probably not happy about
I
that.
guess Nash is not that good at wrestling. No. What is it? What did you call it? The secret pocket?
Well, he's only got one eye.
Nature's pocket.
He's got one working eye. What else he got going for him? I mean, that's it, really. He's done.
He's also, oddly enough, the only person whose D&D character was shorter than they are in real life.
Oh my gosh, really?
Like, everybody else's D&D character is taller than them. Like, even Kyle, for as tall as Kyle is, I mean, Varel's a giant lizard, so
yeah.
Varel towers over him. But, like, I was shocked. I was like, oh, right, Scott's taller than Nash. Mm-hmm. So Nash comes out and he's just kind of this wiry little guy by comparison. Yeah. And then I set it up as a table match where, whoever's the first person to put someone through a table is the winner. And they went right outside by the tables. Nash had a moment, but he threw Scott in the wrong direction, a real Nash move. And then Scott got up, hit him like twice, and put him through a table almost immediately. So
I think you did a pretty good job getting Varel down, given the tools you had to work with. Like,
yeah, he's definitely a nerfed Varel. He had to be muzzled because he can't bite.
Right.
Also because the game doesn't have lizard heads. He had to be without a tail because otherwise, like, we cut it off so he could be pinned. Also because the game doesn't have lizard tails. Yeah. He had to have the Eye of Grosjean covered so he couldn't take advantage of that. Also because they didn't have naked lizards as a body option.
Yeah.
So a lot of custom things had to be done for old Varel here, but given the tools and the insane amount of time that it took, I'm pretty pleased with what I came up with. Like the little muzzle for Varel does give a slight hint that maybe the jaw is elongated a bit.
Yep.
I think it ultimately works as well as it can.
The skin,
'Cause, yeah.
the tights you use, they look like scales. That's pretty good. It's not
He's
bad.
got big old lizard feet.
Yeah.
He's got claws. It's a little hard to see, but he does have claws. So, it's there in places, but it was a long time that I spent trying to find some way to make Varel work. It was one of those things that I thought was going to be impossible.
It's amazing. You say you had no time to do what you had planned. How'd you have time for this? You just went nuts with these
So
characters.
I did this. This is what I did instead of going to FanFest.
Oh, right. That's right.
This was
So-
made while you were in pain from the earache.
While I
Yeah.
was watching FanFest and just sitting quietly sad in a room, I made the There Will Be Dungeons characters. That's what I did. This is Kristen's
Man,
intro, so you have to
Hope's
skip a little
entrance
further to get
is-
to Hope.
Yeah.
Hope's entrance was amazing.
Let me get back a little bit. I went too far. There we go. Yeah, the Kristen entrance is one of the longest entrances in the history of all wrestling ever.
It is insanely long.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like over 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
think just to get her to the ring.
Oh my gosh,
Diane
Hope is on
Talis isn't much better.
What is
but-
she in a tank? What is this?
Yeah, Hope comes out in a tank.
Oh, that's perfect. Look at her metal arm. She's got the horns. What else do you need? This is perfect. Wow.
I mean, iconic. For
She
sure.
might be the best of this group that I've seen. This looks just that's how I know that was Hope. If you hadn't even been working on this, I'd say, John, quick, this wrestling game stole Hope's design. Can you believe it? That's crazy. Very cool.
I think you should go forward and see Nash too. Like he's gnarly. I made him real gangly. I was gonna give him like a full robe, and then I just sort of really liked the fact that you could see his little mummy body and all of that. Also, surprisingly hard to get him all covered in bandages and whatnot.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. All right. I saw pictures of this, but I hadn't seen it moving because I couldn't watch Saturday. But were you able to reproduce anything with the eye? Give him a red eye or no?
He does have a red eye. You'll see it as he gets further into the intro, and you can see up the cloak a little bit better. It is technically the wrong eye, but I liked it.
I love how he gets on the thing. He's just gross. This is perfect.
He's just gross and weird. I gave him just gross skin and nasty bandages and
amazing.
It's shocking how close it is that you have the assets to make it.
Yeah, these tools are nuts.
Like, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate, give us character creation
Yeah,
like
take
this.
notes. Jeez, Larian's like, we worked so hard in this game. It took forever. Meanwhile, WWE's like, we have everything.
Yeah.
we have all the appearances.
But once again, everyone's favorite guy to hate in the game, Mr. Gene Shorts himself over here.
Yes,
Wrexham.
Scott. Continuing to not endear himself to anybody, had to go and win again. You know,
Oh, Nash is really skinny, by the way. Holy smokes!
He has no business being in a wrestling ring with legs like that.
Yeah,
Skip legs day or leg day every day.
Well, it just really, I guess there's no baby arm.
No.
Yeah, that was one thing. If I could have done the baby arm, I would have done the baby arm, but there's no way to attach
You're
that.
barely making a dent. You're this is proper Nash, like low roll Nash. Like,
Yeah. He's failing every role here. This is all bad.
is he about to lose? You said this was the fastest match ever. I'm assuming.
It
close to
still
the
goes
table.
a little bit. Nash will have a brief window of offense, and then Scott wins it. If you skip forward a couple seconds, you're going to be near the end.
I think
so.
I'm almost. Oh, I didn't know how this game worked with health. It looks like you gain some back when you get some advantage or you start winning a little. You get some health back. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it doesn't operate on like a traditional health system. It has like a stamina meter.
Yeah.
And when you deplete it all the way to the red, then you start getting into like permanent loss of health, like a lack of total stamina, but it does refill and move up and down so that there can be momentum and comebacks and all of that. So yeah, like it's over. So Scott just picks him up, puts him through a table, and it's over.
Wow.
We watched the whole match over the course of this
Yeah, and
conversation.
Nash
It was
again.
so short.
Nash, he had 5 opportunities to throw him through the table and didn't do
I
it.
know.
And just before we move on, it is worth going ahead and seeing Dian Talis. He is a perfect, sexy elf warrior, evil bad guy. I really,
you nailed that one too.
I had a early version of Dian Talis that I absolutely was not 100% about, but then I put it out there. I was like, it's good enough. It'll be fine. And then I gave him a fishnet shirt, and I was like, oh no, it could be better. And this is
he's
where we wound.
cool. I like this. Yeah, look at him. You'll catch up to you guys in a sec, but look at him. He's like he's scary, dude.
And someone at WWE better be making notes. We've just John has made them so many iconic new characters that didn't exist that they could add to the real TV show.
I think you've sold games too.
Yeah.
I don't know how we reach out to 2K, but they need to be paying attention to this bullshit because it's great. Look at him. Oh my god.
But like all these TWBD are like clearly good wrestler ideas.
Dude, he's awesome. Who won this one? Did he beat Bo or no?
No, Bo beat him. And the cool thing is, storyline wise, is Bo beat him by doing the same dirty trick that Brian Ibbett did to beat Bo the previous week. So clearly Bo has learned, because last week Bo and Brian Ibbett fought to see who would be going after the Dragon Beef title.
Yeah.
And Bo and Brian Ibbett fought outside to a count out. And Brian Ibbett knocked out Bo just enough to get inside and get Bo counted out of the ring and disqualified. Yeah. And then this week, Bo did the exact same thing to Dian Talis. Got him outside of the ring, got a count high, and then dove back in the ring at the last minute.
Are you saying the video game AI is getting smarter?
I don't know, but it was like really good from a narrative perspective to be able to say, oh my gosh, look at Bo learning the dirty tricks.
Wow.
In order to make this happen. He just leaves.
He
just leaves poor Dian Talis high and dry up against the barricade and gets back in. So,
look at all these
you know, you don't cross the DM. Like,
no.
That's just good advice. Dian Talis tried to cross the DM and he paid for it.
Especially if he's wearing big old VR goggles. You think it's
with an anime emoji on his face.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of core, so I'm not advertising for the show anymore.
Yeah, no more advertisements because he got kicked out.
Oh, what a mess that is. Well, that's great, as usual. If you guys haven't seen any of this stuff yet or you want to catch up on this week, go to Craftless Rogues YouTube channel, and you will see all of it. Lots of comments and stuff. People are loving this, dude.
Yeah. I wanted to know if people wanted the There Will Be Dungeons characters to stick around, because while I made them in the same way and style that I made any of the characters, like, we are going a little supernatural here and just make sure people still dig it, and almost universally people have. So I think they'll be sticking around.
Yeah.
It's funny that there's serious conversations about this. Like, one guy in your comments is like, I personally would like to see TWBD as special occasion characters, but not on the normal roster.
Right.
Yeah.
They're cool perfect and fun though, so it's not a deal breaker if they're in regular
They're
rotation,
perfect for that though. Like,
but he's like, I don't know if I can watch. If you're kind of getting that commentary of like, not agreeing with your design decisions here, necessarily. It's just funny.
I love it.
It's good.
I love it. Awesome. You also beat Remnant 2. I think you're the only one that's played Remnant 2 yet of the three of us.
Out of everybody, the only one.
Yeah, of the three of us.
Only one who played.
Obviously, the rest of the world is super into this game too. But I hovered over this game so much and then didn't ultimately. But you beat it. You're done, right?
Well, I beat it. I got to the end. This game, like, I've talked about this game having DNA from many different games, and probably the thing it seems to be borrowing the most from Diablo is that, like, I beat it, now I just want to keep going, keep getting more powerful, and see what else there is to see, and play through the campaign again. Because everything is so random, your second playthrough of the campaign can be very different. I mean, it even gets to a point where I had one boss where I had 3 different people telling me that they should be ruling the kingdom, and I could kill all 3 of them, and I kind of had to pick, and I didn't really think that much about it on who I sided with. I just, like, the first guy was like, hey, give me money. And I was like, no, I killed him. And then the other person was like, hey, you know, I rule this place, but there is another guy. You should go kill him. And I was like, that seems like a lot of work. I'm here talking to you now, so I'll just fight you instead. And so by default, I got to the last guy and he's like, thank you. I was like, well, I didn't really make a conscious decision on this. But I can see like this game has so many cool secrets and like weird hidden things. The stuff that you're showing up on the clip right now, like I find this weird item. I never found out what to do with this. Like there's just so many cool hidden secrets and
The Seeker's Key, that was called. I guess you'll find out later on another run what you do with it or something.
I don't know. I missed it. But there's like just so many cool weapons and locations and things that are just totally different from run to run. There was a boss I absolutely hated on my first playthrough that when I did my second full playthrough, I never saw. So
weird.
You know, it is extremely like random the things you'll encounter and different. And so I did. I finished the game, which I was grateful for because Baldur's Gate 4 or 3 was coming out like the next day.
Yeah.
So I was extremely happy that I got finished with it, but I also really want to just get back into this game because it plays so incredibly well. Like it's just fun to play and to go around and explore the secrets and explore the multiple worlds and say, well, this time I'm going to help this guy and not help this guy. Like it really could be a very different run the next time you go through it. And I think there's also a lot of fun ways to build your character. Like I took healer as my second class because you get to do duo class everything. And the healer perks had a real weird side effect with a ring that I had equipped that gave me incredible health regeneration. So by the end of the game, I felt like Wolverine. Like I could take a few hits and I would just watch my health bounce back up. And I was like, oh man, this is really cool. And it's cool because I picked these two things and they just come together in a really neat way. So it just scratched the kind of Dark Souls, Elden Ring vibe, as well as with Diablo. Like it just really scratched those itches for me. And I don't want to go too much about it because I did last week, but just what a cool game this was from beginning to end. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, and you're not done yet. It seems like the kind of game that before long, Bo, you will be hooked on this. It just seems like to me. I can't imagine you not playing this.
I mean, I probably would enjoy it, but this year's the year of not playing games. It's just too much.
Yeah, there are a lot, but it's the kind of game
making the cut. I'm sorry.
It's the kind of game you go back to or check out later or whatever, you know. And I don't know.
I take a year off and I'll get to it, but I'm sure 2024 is just going to be equally as packed. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome, dude. It looked like fun. I watched a chunk of your streams as well. It looks great. I think I just need to get this game at some point before this year's out, if there's time. Look, if they delay, I know what I'll do. If they delay Space Marine 2, then I have no excuse because I was going to get that anyway. So let's just get this. There you go.
There you go.
Done. Bo, you finished Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Well,
plus
I already finished it last week, but I got the achievements.
Yeah, 100%, you guys.
So now, just keep in mind, it's not 100% of the mini games. I've decided I'm not doing shogi or, mahjong, but I did all the important mini games like Dragon Kart and investment mini game and Conquest and all that stuff. Part-time hero. Yeah. But 100% of the achievements. So very few perfect games on Steam. 5, in fact, and this is the 5th one.
Do you know what your other 4 are off the top of your head?
Hades, Banished, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And
that's a big game.
One, and Hades, Banished, Kingdoms of Amalur. And I can't remember
Disco
what the
Elysium?
No. Disco Elysium has like 100 things. You have to do different playthroughs and stuff.
Oh, that you got a 100% on.
Yeah, 100% achievements. I'm trying to think of what it might be. I gotta look. It's bugging me now because I need to know. It's something obvious and easy, I'm sure.
Mine are a lot of Telltale games. Hi,
Um,
Telltale.
Oh, hi,
Come
Telltale.
on the show.
Codes. Send me a code.
Stacklands. Right, that was a weird one to have added in there, but I did 100% Stacklands.
Stacklands is great.
Yeah, I would never have thought of that. I had to look that one.
Real quick, it just reminded me I did beat another game this year. Me and John beat. John watched me beat it, but I beat Resident Evil 4. So chalk
That's
that one up.
right. You did. And
Was that this
it is
past week?
genuinely completed.
Yep,
Yes.
put it on the board, everybody. Scott didn't finish another game this year, and then there's no second half or second disc I skipped or any of that.
How many games you finished this year so far?
I don't know.
Well,
I gotta go do a list. I don't know, and the list is short. It's not a big list.
John, how long is your list approximately, if you had to guess?
I don't know. I can off the top of my head think of 2 or 3, but I think it's probably more. Oh no, I can think of 3 easily. 'Cause
Remnant's
I beat
1.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, Remnant.
Oh, I also beat Resident Evil 4. I did that on my own multiple times, so
Yeah.
I'm up to 4.
Yep.
Remnant 2, so 3.
Yeah.
Remnant 2, Resident Evil 4 remake, Final Fantasy 16. What was the
Did you
other one I
beat
was
Final
thinking
Fantasy
of?
14 this year?
14.
I mean, I'm current. I technically beat it the year it came out, which might actually have been 2 years ago.
Oh, you can't
but I
count
think I would have beat it
MMOs
last
though.
year.
Can you count an MMO? I don't know.
Yeah, I got to the end. Yeah,
Okay.
it's done.
All right. How about Dead Space? You also finished, right?
I beat Dead Space,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the one I was thinking of.
That's the one. That's the other one I beat for sure. I got that one done.
Yeah, there's been a few. Not as many as
All right,
when I
we'll
was
come back
clearing
with the
through
count.
each of the Final Fantasies, but
We can do that next week. Come back with
Yeah.
the count. I want to see where the race is
Yeah.
between you two.
I'm sure John's beating me, 100%. And if
I
you
know,
count,
but it's still fun to rub it in. That's
and if you count the 4 or 5, 6 times he beat Resident Evil 4
Wait,
in a
I
row.
know
oh, I
Scott-
beat Diablo 4. That's on the list.
Oh yeah, I can count that.
Scott
too.
beat that too.
Yeah, we can
yeah,
count
that
that.
counts.
Although Bo really beat it. Bo's the real winner.
Bo,
there.
Bo
beat it to
truly
death.
beat it. He beat it better than all of us.
I know I'm
Beat it
missing.
to absolute death for sure.
I'm forgetting something. I'm actually close. I didn't talk about it this week, but I'm close on that Trials of Mana remake.
Oh,
Actually,
nice.
I'm actually really far on that. That game's great.
Oh, I beat Jedi Survivor.
Oh, right. Both
Yeah,
y'all
I didn't
did.
even finish that. I need to get
No,
back.
you didn't?
That's another one I have to get back to.
Same.
No, I dropped it for what other game comes out. What other?
Same.
I need a year off, games industry, please.
I know, right?
me.
Slow down, everybody. Sorry, Bo. So back to the point. 100%. Would you recommend it? Do you think that achievement level was worth it?
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
a fantastic game. I mean, one thing, it's not a challenging game. So
Yeah.
if you want a challenge, that's not here, but it's fun, has a lot of personality, is interesting if you like leveling up, getting abilities. Yakuza is just great. It's its
Story's
own thing.
insane. Yeah, all that stuff's good.
Sure, it's not for everyone. Not everyone loves crime stuff, but I like the positive vibe on the game. You know,
Nice.
it stands unique in being modern and about cell phones and current day stuff, while also being an RPG. There's very few of those. How many RPGs are there that are like take place in the now, but are also level up and get items like Alpha Protocol?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess
That's
Mass
about
Effect is
it.
sci-fi. Yeah, you're right. There's not a
Like,
lot where it's
how many RPGs? You know, Earthbound, I guess, is like the one you think of.
Yeah.
Old, but you know, Earthbound. Like, there's not many that are like current day RPGs, so it's
What-
pretty special.
What was
tier.
that? What was that Funcom game where you were in the real world, but you got sucked into like X-Files town to fight
Oh yeah,
stuff?
it was like Hidden World or
Costume Quest?
Secret World.
Secret
or-
World, I think.
Yeah,
That was a cool idea that didn't really. It's still out there, I guess. You can still
it's
play
a super cool idea. I wish somebody would do something cool with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it
There
was
was
really good.
the CCP, the EVE Online guys for the longest time were supposed to do a vampire MMO.
it. Oh
World
yeah,
of
what
Darkness
happened
or
to that?
something.
That
It
got-
didn't pan out or something. But the idea is everyone starts as humans, and you can stay human or turn into a vampire. There's a whole story behind it's falling apart or whatever, but it sounded awesome. But we don't get many. I guess Vampire the Masquerade would think vampire games would count as current day
Yeah.
potentially.
yeah.
Or Bloodline. We're supposed to get Bloodlines too. That's supposed to come sometime. I don't know when that, but there isn't a lot. And this one's very much like there's no monsters. Everyone's a human. You're just imagining them as monsters, except for the bulldozers you fight and the tigers and bears. Yeah. But like, there's not really a lot of monsters. It's mostly dudes, and in that way, it really stands. It's just really unique, and it's all like either criminals or perverts.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like you're not fighting the military or the police really. Like it's not. There's no factionalism. It's unless your faction is like. There's one enemy in there. I don't know if you've bumped into him yet, Scott, who is like naked but has a yellow thong on, a bunch of Christmas lights, handcuff bracelets like on his arms and feet.
Yeah.
He's lathered in lube, and he's got like a like something you lie on in a pool. You throw in the pool and lie on it. And what he does is he like runs at you, but he's so covered in lube. Sometimes he just falls over and doesn't attack you because he's got so much lube on his body.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's the game is it's very unique, very unique.
Well,
I loved it.
Good. And you beat it, which is the real
I
real
beat it.
challenge.
It's over. Bring infinite wealth to me, please.
Let's do
The
it.
sequel.
I'll tell you what else we'll bring to you. A small break while we take 5 minutes to go refresh ourselves and then come back for a little Dear Martha, some remaining stories, a couple of emails. I got a voicemail today, I think. Oh, no, I have news about voicemails. I'll talk to you about that in a minute.
Oh,
That's-
voicemail news!
I
Exciting.
know, right? It's all pretty crazy. Anyway, that's all coming up in a minute. Stay tuned. Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Shockwave number 2 survived.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. Shockwave.
We got another shockwave.
Oh, look at
Just
that.
really securing my favorite transformer here.
How many shockwaves now?
2.
2 shockwaves. A lot more than one. That's double.
Yeah. He's ready to go. He's got 2 guns.
That's double the shockwave. I'm starting to think you're a bigger Transformers fan than Bo is, and that's saying something.
No, I get an excuse to buy the toys because I have a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like I
true.
can go down the toy aisle with no shame. Just
Yeah,
use them as a shield.
that would probably be. I don't want them, but if I had a kid who wanted them, I'd be like, "Here's all the Transformers."
Yeah, I'd be like, hell yeah. No, you don't need an excuse when that happens. Oh, my back. All right, let's come back. I got to do it here, though. Hi, everyone. We're back. Thanks for your patience. Sit down, though, and relax and enjoy another Dear Martha. Although today's a little bit different, John. Last week it was all about what game must this review be for. But no, you've done something very different. Explain to the people how this is going to work.
Yeah, this week we're kicking it up a notch on the Dear Martha game show. This week I'm telling you the review is for Remnant 2. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to read 4 Steam reviews, pretty short ones, in the spirit of Dear Martha. And then you have to tell me which review you think applied to Remnant 2, a game neither of you have played. So you stand a really good chance of getting this correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, when you're ready, cue it up. We're going to do 4 back-to-back Martha reviews here.
And we have to figure out which one is for Remnant?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are all from different games, only one of them from Remnant 2.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
My dearest Martha, accidentally ate my friend. 10 out of 10. Yours in this life and the next, Marcus Autisticus.
Autisticus, okay.
Marcus Autisticus.
Yeah, that's a good name. I like it. All right.
All right,
on the
next
spectrum.
review. My dearest Martha, play your way. Don't use a guide. Feel the world react to your choices. Hit people with a salami. Yours in this life and the next, dunno what I'm doing.
What I'm doing. I'm writing these down. Okay. I don't think it's him because there's a salami involved, but continue.
Okay, third review.
Yeah.
My dearest Martha, I love this game. A lot of action. If you like that, get it now. It is such a good game. One thing, though, is that there is a bunch of button. Yours in this life and the next, Colton Andrew, 62.
Colton, what up, Colton?
If he was born in 62, I got issues with his grammar. That was pretty bad.
Can you tell there was no punctuation in that review?
Yeah.
I could.
I sure could. Yeah. All right, so we got last final one here. What do you got?
The final review, my dearest Martha, this game helps me calm down and enjoy the brutality. Yours in this life and the next, Alpha.
Jeez, that's a rough one. All
So
right.
those are your 4 reviews.
I missed the last one. What was it?
This game helps me calm down and enjoy the brutality.
Yeah. His name was Alpha.
Now I will let me tell you. Do you think it would help to know the 4 potential games that it's from, or would that just further muddy the waters?
Part of me thinks it would muddy it, but part of me is very curious and it thinks I would.
All right, how about I let you guess and then I'll tell you which the other games were.
Okay. Bo, I'm leaning toward Colton Andrew 62, despite his crappy writing. He sounded like maybe that was what he played, whereas Do I Know What I'm Doing guy talked about a salami. There is no melee.
I don't think salami is in Remnant 2.
Yeah, and there's not even melee, I don't think. As far as I know, there might be a melee.
Oh, there's
move.
melee. Melee's actually really good in Remnant.
Really? But it's not like weapon melee. It's like a move.
No, it is weapon melee.
I think
there are melee builds in Remnant.
Okay,
as well.
that's good to know. I did not know that. Okay.
The lots of buttons comment makes me think Remnant 2.
Lots of buttons. Which one
Okay,
was
so
that
that's Colton Andrew as well.
Okay,
so you
so
guys
we-
are both thinking Colton Andrew.
one? Yeah. Can you give me a hint on Marcus Autisticus again? What was his take?
Marcus Autisticus said he accidentally ate his friend.
Yeah,
10
that
out of 10.
That doesn't seem right.
That seems like
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Colton Andrew 62. Bo, do you agree?
Yeah.
We both kind of landed on that. We'll say that guy.
All right. I love this game. A lot of action. If you like that, get it now. It is such a good game. One thing, though, is that there is a bunch of buttons. By Colton Andrew 62 is a review for Mortal Kombat 11.
Damn it.
A lot of buttons in Mortal Kombat.
Not
Two?
really. It's like,
It's not my job to review the review. I just read the review. That's it. They get to control it.
no, it's a fair point. How about
What was his name? Colton Andrew?
Colton Andrew 62.
All right.
I'll give you the other wrong
Mortal
answers
Kombat
before I
2.
give you the right one.
Okay.
This game helps me calm down and enjoy the brutality. From Alpha is a review for Doom Eternal.
Mm. That was from
I get
Alpha.
it.
That was
being
our.
ironic.
Yeah.
Play your way, don't use a guide, feel the world, react to your choices, hit people with a salami. From Dunno What I'm Doing is a review for Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh wow. And that's true. You can hit people with salamis. I saw.
Spoilers. I didn't know there was a salami.
You can not only do. I read today you could dual wield salamis in it.
Oh.
Spoilers, Scott. I didn't
know.
that.
Well, that was some Kotaku thing. It was all
I've been
over the
trying to avoid the headlines because every press site is like, "Oh my God, you can have sex with a tree." Oh my God, like everything's like, shut up, new gaming sites. We're still playing it for.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to avoid a lot of the videos
Bastards.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
If I watch something on Baldur's Gate 3 right now, I actually remove it from my watch history so I don't get other recommendations.
That's why I'm not streaming it. I just assume people don't want to see the story. I don't know. Maybe they do.
Which that does mean that the correct Remnant 2 review is accidentally ate my friend, 10 out of 10.
What?
And as somebody who beat the game, I don't actually know what that means.
That guy's a bastard for you saying that, because what does that even mean? Okay, ate your friend. Co-op. Okay, you have a friend with you. How do you eat anything in that game?
I don't know, but there is friendly fire. So if there's a gun that
Oh,
does something, like friendly fire is a thing in Remnant.
some kind of
Yeah, but
consumption.
eating is a little different than shooting or hitting.
I don't know.
I
don't
agree.
know.
But I like this version of this game, though. I like this. This is fun.
And you ride a dinosaur or something?
No, I never rode a dinosaur.
Yeah, never did. Never will. All right, nicely done. Let's move on. We got some other news of note. Kind of small stuff, though. Somebody finally beat heat level 64 in Hades. This was all over the place when this happened, and that is no small feat. If it was, it would have been done a long time ago. But apparently that's possible. Bo, as the most hardcore of the Hades players here, John with a close second. Are you in awe?
Yeah, there was
of
a
Heat?
time when I was following this, like the creators, but because a lot of people were playing this, and like high 60s was like the max.
Yeah.
I never really got that far. There was a time where I thought I was gonna play this game forever, push that high.
Yeah.
I still have trophies to unlock because you should at least get to 32, and I only think I got the first 2 trophies. But
Wow.
64 is very, very, very impressive. Now, the video for this kind of sucks because the guy who uploaded it decided to put some like techno over it or something. It's really annoying to watch.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a
it's just like,
shame.
just give me the playthrough, dude. I don't need to hear your favorite music.
Yeah,
I don't know
like that.
why he decided to do that, but otherwise, it's very impressive. The game, those heat levels really make the game challenging. And I mean, you got to be fast. Now, he said he's done it like a bajillion times and got lucky. Like, I think luck has a lot to do with also the run. So he's got to clear Act 1 in 5 minutes. That's one of the challenges in the bottom left corner. There's a timer. So not only do you have to do the hardest possible everything, you got to do it all in 5 minutes. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's a
Now,
lot.
he's
Yeah,
using the shield
Yeah.
with Zeus on it, which makes a lot of sense to me. That I always found that shield to be pretty strong, that shield variation. But yeah,
You know what I like
I
about
had,
his
I had like just saw a news story published about how likely nobody would do this. It's impossible. And then sure enough, as soon as somebody writes about how impossible it is, someone comes out and does it.
Yeah, that's always how it goes, right? This guy, my favorite thing about this is it says the video title is Hades 64 Heat Unseated Unmodded. I like where he had me at Hades 64 because it sounds like a version of Hades on the N64. But anyway, yeah, watching this is impressive and makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing at all in this game. So there you go. What's
it
he
just
using?
reminds me how damn good Hades is.
Hades
like,
is so good.
There's a few games in my life that I just think, man, I was lucky enough to get to play that game. Like, it's just a weird way of thinking it, but it just pops into my head, and Hades is one of those. Hades is one of those truly magical video games that, I'm just gonna say, I think Hades is a perfect video game.
I think it's right up there, and I think that it is also great that it comes from a, what is a indie studio. Like, they're not huge. There's like 16 people working there, and this is their game, and I love that part of it. I can't wait to see what Hades 2 is. I mean, obviously they have a lot to live up to, but they're probably up for it, and that's in
even if
development
it's
now.
just more Hades, like, just make me happy. Like, I know there's gonna be an element of diminishing returns if that's the case, but
Yeah.
like, still, just
So
oh, I just love this game so much.
agreed. That video's out there. You guys want to find it? Just search for the Heat Level 64 Hades, and you'll find it. Post Malone in the news in gaming, not video games, it turns out, but he now owns the One Ring Magic card. So they did the whole themed Lord of the Rings run. There's the One Ring card that is extremely rare, worth a couple of $1 million if you find it. Guy in Canada, this is like a two-pronged connection thing. Guy in Canada got it, sold it to Post Malone, who's a nut for Magic the Gathering and has a lot of money, for $2 million. And that card is supposedly, as of right this minute, about 40 minutes drive from me right now in his house in Park City. Nobody go there and try to take it. He has a lot of security.
You feel a voice calling you to take it.
But he's such a nut about that stuff around here. He's just known locally for like showing up at Walmarts for no reason to buy Magic cards and stuff like that. Anyway, he hasn't gone back to LA since this. So this thing is supposedly here right now. So in my state lies the One Ring to rule them all Magic card worth $2 million, and he paid for it. And that guy up in Canada made a lot of money. So well done.
Hell yeah. He's got to pay a lot of taxes now.
Pretty awesome. Fantasian. I don't know if you guys remember this. The original designer of Final Fantasy made a game for Apple Arcade. Was the initial place to release it, and everybody was like, "Whoa, this is a pretty highfalutin game for this weird, almost free service Apple runs on phones." And who cares about phones and all that stuff? But I played it and liked it a lot. But always had this feeling of like, this needs to be somewhere better than a phone. This needs to be like on a PC or on something, just consoles. Put it out there, and that may be happening now. Although I don't think, from what I read, it didn't sound like it was 100% for sure.
Yeah, not confirmed, but when listings show up, what was it they said exactly? I can't remember.
I'm gonna find it right here. It says Final Fantasy creators Apple Arcade RPG Fantasian may be coming to Steam.
It has a listing in Steam database.
Oh, that's what it is. SteamDB, right?
So SteamDB picked up the hint that there might be one on the way.
He is quoted as saying, "Many people have asked for a PC port, and I also hear demand for a sequel, he says. Fantasian is a title I hope more people will get to see for themselves. I agree.
There's an item on Steam here. I'll link it to you. It's called Fantasian Playtest.
Ooh, let's see. Put that in their Discord there.
Last
It
record
was fun.
update.
I played a bit of it. It was what I tested my backbone with.
Oh,
and
yeah. It
was,
has great backbone
really,
support
really
on
good.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which tells me it'd be just a simple, not even a hard port. This should be easy. It's probably a rights thing or a who knows what. But, yeah, there it is. The game is unique in one way that I really like. It's the characters and stuff, they look like they're ripped right out of a Final Fantasy game, but the world is meant to look and feel like miniature stuff in real life, like dioramas.
Stop motion toys.
Yeah, like a
kind of.
diorama.
Yeah,
or something.
dioramas, stop motion. Yeah, it's kind of clay in some places. It's a really unique look and has a really fun combat that was more than just, turn-based normal JRPG stuff. It had some pretty cool twists to it. I think this would be great. So please do it, and I'll play it.
Also,
there.
the guy who made it, Sakaguchi, is maybe the biggest Final Fantasy XIV fan I've ever heard of.
Oh, well, see, there you go then.
He
If
created
and-
Final Fantasy, but stopped being involved in it for a while. He went back to play through 14, and he cataloged his journey through it. And he maybe played that game faster than anyone I've ever. Maybe this is why it took so long to come to Steam. Dude wouldn't stop playing Final Fantasy 14 for a while,
Yeah.
a long while.
He's been in his
Music
Japanese
also
basement.
composed by forget his name, the Final Fantasy VII composer. Actually, like what's his name?
Nobuo
Nobuo Uematsu. That's right.
Yeah, same guy.
He did the music for this, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
and the music's really cool.
Awesome.
It's also got, it's got like 1 foot in fantasy, 1 foot in science fiction, the vibe of it, which feels very Seven. It's cool. I really am excited about this. If this happens, it's worth picking up. I don't know who will publish it. Like that, maybe that's the other hang up is, when you did the phone game, it was just, Apple handled all that, but now it's different when you got to put it on another platform. So I don't know. We will see, but Fantasian, keep an eye out. That's coming soon.
That's a good question.
Here's some questions we got via email. talktothecore@gmail.com. Here's our first one. Hey guys, Trickster565 here, and I know I'm a little late, but I was just listening to the podcast about Scott's nickname neighbor. The guy that calls me Fortnite guy or Fortnite. What do you call me? Fortnite. Hey, Fortnite. What does he say?
Just calls you Fortnite, I think.
I
Is it
think
just
he just
Fortnite?
called you Fortnite.
Hey,
right?
Fortnite. Yeah, that's right. You're
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
all it
just
is.
Fortnite.
Anyway, he says, although Walker Texas Ranger is a good one, I feel like Joaquin Phoenix would be another good one. Thanks, guys. Trickster. So
Pretty
walking Phoenix, right? Because he's walking.
Yeah.
It's like
Maybe
the
a little better where I live, but definitely good.
Yeah, good point. Doesn't work here as well.
I think just go with Walking Phoenix and let him make the connection.
Hey,
I think if
John.
you say Joaquin, it'll just sound like you're saying a name.
John, how you guys get those like monsoon sudden rains sometimes that come and just like flash flood?
Not lately, but
lately.
yeah, in theory, back before the dawn of man, yeah, that was something that sometimes happened
Before
here.
the dark times, we got the biggest. We had 2 days of it, and yesterday was so hardcore. I thought we were all going to get swallowed up and die. It was so much rain all at once, out of nowhere. Wasn't even on the weather thing.
Yep. We had tornado warnings here.
Well, I wish you would all send some of it. Send the tornadoes, just anything but unbearable, ungodly heat. We're on like a record run of days consecutively over 110 degrees.
Yeah,
You ever think
So-
about moving?
All the time.
all the time. Yeah, it's hard
Like,
though.
seriously.
Literally constantly.
Yeah, but the problem is
Salt Lake.
everywhere's having weird stuff because climate change is weird and changes things. There's talk from some scientists who believe that it's possible where I live, which is mostly desert but also wintry and stuff, but the Salt Lake Valley could one day be a tropical paradise zone because of the direction it's changing into. If that's true, I hope I live long enough to live in the tropical paradise that was once a desert. And maybe that'll
The
happen to
Utah
Phoenix.
tropics.
Yeah, right. We'll have weird birds, with weird colored beaks and stuff. I don't know how that works. Something like that. Anyway, where was I? I don't know where I was. Oh, Thanks, Walker, Texas Ranger guy, trickster. Hello, Core Family, says Cody. Let's pretend you both own, or you all own both a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. But now your wallet, I do as well. Now your wallet is empty.
It is.
So you think, man, I probably should have just one of these. I should have just got one of these and some games instead of both at the same time. But here we are. So, light bulb. You could purchase Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. Assume you own literally no games. Which one are you getting and why? Thanks, guys. Cody. I think the perfect answer is you switch between them. You don't have to have just one. You don't have to have them simultaneously either. Do Game Pass while you're playing your Starfield. When you've had your fill or whatever game it is you're into, you pause that and you go, oh, Ragnarok just popped over there on PlayStation Plus. I'm going to go switch over to that. Exact same price for the same tier. And just go back and forth depending on what you're playing. That's what I would do.
Okay, smart guy. But which one do you get first?
Genius. All right.
I've been really enjoying my latest run through PlayStation Plus just to kind of explore around there and found some real gems in there.
I mean,
However,
it's Xbox Starfield, right? I mean,
yeah, I think I'd do Game Pass first.
I think. I mean, it all comes down to what games you want to play. Like, if Sony has 3 games you want to play and Microsoft has none, then, your decision's made for you. But in a vacuum where it's just like, I want to play video games, I think Game Pass offers a more consistent and newer releases. Yep. And you don't have to worry as much, especially about, titles that they own. But you don't have to worry as much about things dropping off as PlayStation seems to, because you like even Sony exclusives drop off of Sony's at a point, and it kind of rotates. I do think Scott's answer is correct. Like, go where the games you want to play are.
This question pretty hard.
But if I had to pick one, and it was you're locked in on one, I personally think Game Pass offers a little bit more and consistently. I think that's what they're banking on. Like, that's what their bread and butter is. So, like, naturally it's going to have more stuff because that's all they offer.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're like me and you like weird little indie titles out of nowhere that you've never heard of and you end up finding some gems in there, I think Game Pass is superior in that regard as well, and which is something I would have back in the PlayStation 3 days, I would have ascribed more to Sony. So I think Microsoft's willingness to pull in weird indies, including, I think, you know what I heard yesterday? So this is good news for everybody. That Sea of Stars game I'm very much looking forward to is coming to everything, but it will be on both Game Pass day one and PlayStation Plus Extra on day one. So you kind of have no excuse if you got one of those consoles. But the indies tend to show up over, I don't know why. Maybe Microsoft's just making more deals. Maybe we're too early in the new 3-tiered system at Sony for them to have had those deals in place. But right now, if you want weird little indies, Game Pass is the place to go.
But ultimately, just look at what's there and decide. Like, I feel like this question is trying to get enough like qualifiers on there for us to just say one is superior. But at the end of the day, like, if what I care about is like mainline titles only, the PlayStation 5 would have been a better deal for me because that's where Final Fantasy 16 is. That's where Spider-Man 2 is. Like, logically speaking, in that regard, that's the best place. But family utility sees more use on the Xbox. So you just really have to make your own decision. Like, it requires a level of effort, a little research. But I think both consoles are very good and do the things that they do extremely well. It just so happens in the terms of this question, the thing Microsoft does really well is its subscription service.
Yeah, their service is real strong. I agree. So there you go. There's your answer. And I like it, Cody. I like where your brain's at. So thank you for asking the hard questions. All right, a quick note. I have about 13 and a half minutes of phone calls that we never seem to have time to squeeze into the show. Sometimes they get bumped. Sometimes they're just not questions that are good for what we talked about that day or whatever, or it means a whole nother hour of discussion. and they don't necessarily need answers. So I've taken the ones that don't need answers so much, but are just great points that I want people to hear, and compiled them into a huge call run that will happen at the end of today's show. So you have, after we're done here, you tune back, you don't leave, you stay, and you will get 13 and a half minutes of phone calls from you guys to our hotline, 801-471-0462 or 801-10-HAMS. It's not, don't quote me on that last one.
10 hams. The 10 hams.
The 10 hams number. But all you hams out there get to have your time in the sun, and we're going to play all your calls. So stick around for this massive call dump. Okay. A lot of good stuff in there from a lot of great listeners. So check it out. That's going to do it for us. However, it is time for me to thank our patrons. New ones, too. We got some brand new people at Patreon.com.
That's shocking, because we did a show on Monday.
I know.
Like,
we already had
awesome, and a huge thank you to you guys, because the fact that we have anything to say right now is a damn miracle. Like, it's been days since we did this show.
When I got in, I was checking them, and I thought, oh, we'll have like 2 or 1 or maybe none. But no, a bunch of you stepped up, like Dave Jones, who lives under the water, I assume. He's Davy Jones. He's got a
that's
locker.
Davy Jones.
Yar. Philip Lewis, Tolga Berkman, Hendo, and Mark Gale all joined us. And Mark Gale, don't take anything I said about the wizard named Gale the wrong way.
Look at Scott putting the Gales down. Really throwing shade at Gale.
Back to the pedal to the back.
I'm just saying, if you're a wizard and you're called Gale and you're in Baldur's Gate 3, I don't trust you.
He might be a wizard. We don't know. Oh, and you're in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
you
you're
gotta be
all
in
3.
Baldur's Gate 3.
All 3 things have to be true.
You saved it. By the way, while you're on the Patreon thing, though, I've been seeing rumblings on Twitter or X. Oh, God.
X, dude.
No,
X.
just call it Twitter. It's like
on,
it can just still be Twitter.
Whatever. On socials, I saw some grumblings from Garrett saying that there might be some issues with payment processing because Patreon changed where their payments are getting processed.
Yeah.
So some people are experiencing difficulties. So
if you do, go check your stuff if you're not getting your feeds or whatever. I haven't. So we checked on this. We didn't have as big a problem. I had some problems on TMS, but Core did not. So I don't know. I don't know if that was just a lucky one-off or a few of you maybe were affected and just don't know it yet. But if you have any issues with getting your feeds or anything like that, it should be just as simple as going back into your account and hitting retry, and you should be good, according to Patreon. So yeah, they didn't change entirely their processors. I think they expanded it and something went weird. I don't know what happened. It's odd.
By the way, Hendo, who's one of the patrons, that's a real Star Wars name. Is that a real name?
Hendo, Hendo? I don't know. He just used Hendo.
Yeah.
Hendo.
He probably, I'm guessing it's just his nickname because there's no last name, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Nintendo. Maybe
Nintendo.
If your last name is Nin and then you're Japanese, so you say last name first, you'd be Nintendo.
I'd love it. Your theory is as good as anyone I could come up with. But anyway, these guys are awesome. And if you want no commercials on your show, you want pre-show content, post-show content, all that kind of stuff, any kind of content where we're not recording the show, we record it and give it to you and no one else. You also get monthly benefits like host specials, I should say. John is coming up this month sometime. Bo in the next month. Mine just went up not long ago. And art in the mail. That's the other thing. I think I sent Kirby stuff out this month. I like Kirby. I'm a fan. Every time I want to draw something, Kirby crosses my mind, and I kind of do Kirby things. So anyway, watch for all of that. That's all over there and detailed at patreon.com/core show. Everything else is at frogpants.com/core. And links and emails and all that stuff is there. The 10 hams number, all that stuff. All right, so go check it out. We like to leave you with a reminder as to what we played today so that you don't get mad at us and say, well, they never talk about the games they played. But we'd like to do it via Grandma, who steps in here.
This stops them. This
this
segment
stops 'em.
right here prevents those comments.
Yeah, this means you can no longer bring it up. So we're going to do that now. Grandma, here's the mic. Please tell us what we played.
Well, if your attention span started to wane over the course of these few hours, these are the games they played. It was, they all played Baldur's Gate 3. Everybody's talking about it. He didn't say it 8 times, so hopefully you remembered it. Baldur's Gate 3 was the game they all played. Scott played The Expanse, a Telltale series. Only him, because he's the only one who got a code. And he also played Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom. I can't fault you if you don't remember that one, especially because he said Wonder Boy a bunch, but this one's Monster Boy.
Well, that's because it's part of the Wonder Boy series.
I
It's
know,
just-
I'm explaining for them.
Right.
They might not have known. They're just like, he said something about Wonder Boy and the Monster's Kingdom Cursed. They don't know. They couldn't even pay attention to a podcast. They would get confused easily.
Fair point.
John continued to play WWE 2K23, and he finished Remnant 2, so I don't have to say at least one of those ever again.
Yeah.
And Bo played Yakuza Like a Dragon to completion, the way he likes it.
That's
Grandma,
right.
Gross.
100%.
It's not gross. It's what you do when you beat a game. You complete it.
Yeah, you complete.
Grandma,
You finish.
Don't talk to me about beating games.
No, you finish. You know, that's not any
Grandma,
better.
don't talk to me about
He
finishing.
finished. He
Yeah.
finished it.
Yeah,
He's
you don't-
finished.
You never
I
want. Your,
hate you guys.
yeah, Grandma doesn't want to talk about.
He
finishing.
beat it to completion, and now he's finished.
I hate where Grandma's taking this.
Grandma, go back and play Wii Sports.
Yeah, go play Wii Sports. All right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you all for listening, watching. We'll be back next Thursday, our normal time. Assuming I have jury duty selection that day, but it's supposed to be done before 5.
Hey, wait, is there a season 2 of Jury Duty happening? I didn't see the first one. But
Oh,
you
I
better
don't
be
know.
Careful, you're not the sucker. in that.
Yeah, I don't want to be the sucker, or however. I haven't seen it either, but I don't know how that works.
I don't want
wanna
to
be-
watch it.
Yeah, I
but-
kind of do too. I hear it's great. Anyway, it should be fine. But we're looking at next Thursday, and we should see you all then. Until then, have a great week. Be good, and we'll talk to you then.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Now, you want to take a look at the other stuff I got?
Have you met that character in Baldur's Gate yet?
Shadowheart?
No.
No, it's this.
Now, you want to take a look at the other
It's
stuff?
a different. It's a little not tiefling, halfling thing.
No, I just got out of the ship and was around the wreckage.